But I have started broadcasting now! Okay, so everything you say from now on will be recorded, just as a note.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Alright, so guys, we are officially broadcasting. At least we should be. Once again, I guess just make sure that it's all actually broadcasting before we start talking. It's running the ad, of course. But presumably it is broadcasting at this point, and we can actually start. Basking in the glory of this just for a couple of seconds. Holy crap, Quinn. Holy crap, the organization. Holy crap. Okay. I just had to take a moment. We've been, I think everybody kind of knows where we are. We've been just piddling away at planning stuff, getting things kind of arranged. Lucky Larry, we've got to figure out a couple of things before we can even start kind of arranging as to how and where things are going to happen. I think that's going to be the main hurdle.
Like who's going to be on it? Because right now there's only 3 people on the board.
We have quite a few of us interested in stuff, I think. It's just going to be a matter of how interested we are is going to be based on how the game is going to be made. So we have to figure out how Larry is going to be physically composed.
Yeah,
so if he's 2D, 3D, how to manage, because I posted that.
2D.
Oh yeah, but I posted that thing with the Maya Broken Age demo. So it could be made in Maya with 2D, or it could be 2D but made in Maya. So that would get us the ability to have an IK rig and everything, so it'd be easier to control.
Yeah, I don't know the best way to program it.
That's the thing. So do you have?
I've looked into it a little bit, and I think that since we want sort of like a ragdoll situation, 3D is going to be the way to go for actually making the character.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's going to be 2D mechanics, and we can make it look like a 2D style.
Yeah.
Kind of like Game & Watch style almost, where it's a 3D model that looks flat.
Well, it's. Did you see the Broken Age thing that I brought up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd just be that.
Yeah. Instead of, if I remember correctly, because I didn't rewatch it, but that one is instead of having solid polygons, you basically have a lot of planes, but they're assembled like they're textured planes.
Yeah.
That are essentially put together like layers of a file.
It would be no different than a puppet tool in After Effects or whatever else, basically. So, but that'll give us the ability to rig it and set that up. We will need somebody to specifically do the rigging on that. So there is that. But yeah, that's probably still the best way to approach that one. I think we can discuss more in depth in a minute, I guess. Coffee Cute, it's ridiculously organized and chugging along just fine thus far. Need to figure out all the details on that, I think, but I think all the basic stuff is there.
Just uploaded a basic mock-up in pixel art of what it could look like.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's kind of that. I guess we'll get into that in a moment. I do want to mention, did everybody get a chance to read or look at all the agreement that's online?
Yes.
Because it is on the Game Maker's General on the top left, the agreement.
What the?
You okay?
I dropped
What
my
the?
phone.
Huh.
And then Nathan's phone exploded out of his hand.
And then Nathan's phone exploded out of my hand for no reason. Sorry. I just have a thing. I have to throw stuff, okay?
Almost left a mark on my computer.
Oh God, how dare I? I marred the beautiful Mac.
Yep.
Jeez. Okay, where's my Evernote? Has anybody gotten a chance to go through and read all of that yet? Is for any reason to continue mentioning this at all? Or should I just wait till next week?
I think, who is not ready to sign the contract?
I don't have it printed yet, so nobody's ready to sign the contract.
Oh, you don't have it?
No, I didn't bring a printed copy. I assume nobody would have read it yet. Nobody's commented on it.
I did.
You've commented.
If you
Hey
haven't,
June
it's
briefly
in
looked at
the
it. It's. Oh, are you not in?
No.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, she needs advice
Okay.
from Trello
Yeah.
and Slack.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So that needs to happen. Sorry.
It's okay. We're still
yeah.
friends.
But are you really
Sort
going
of.
to wait? Okay, Nathan, if you're going to wait until everyone actually reads the contract for people to sign
I'm
it.
gonna wait till more than one person other than me has read the contract.
I've read it.
Oh, okay.
I
So there's
just didn't
2.
comment on it.
Well, no one has told me anything about it. No one has mentioned it whatsoever.
Well, hey,
aside
Dennis
from
said
the
it's
one
not.
I
comment.
think that's because we discussed it so thoroughly.
Well, either way, I got no feedback whatsoever from it, so I just kind of assumed nobody had read it. So
I have good
Okay.
thoughts, so
yeah, so give it a look through briefly, I guess, whatever. And I'll have a printed copy for next week. Everybody can
Yes,
come
and
in and
having
sign.
gone through it, I can promise that only the very end joke is in legalese.
Yes,
The rest of it is, in fact, fairly easy to keep track of.
it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, he did a good job of making it legible. I was very happy with him.
The ending, however, is a work of beauty.
Isn't it though? that one sentence, it's just that's all it takes.
Let's see. I just want a quick dramatic reading of it. Continue discussing,
Yeah, so a couple of notes from me for the week. I went to an IGDA talk last night at USC. The IGDA is the International Game Developers Association. They were giving a talk at USC. They have some people over there, and they just kind of brought in a few more people, gave a talk about production methodologies. Basically, how to make a game. And the different thoughts and processes that are involved in doing that. So I figure, hey, we're learning to make games and we don't have any kind of education. It'd be good for me to go to this, right? So it turns out I went and I didn't learn anything. We're doing everything they suggested.
Yay!
Like, I mean, literally, we're doing everything they suggested. So the only thing that I got was a little like printout of their agile methodology thing, or a little website, whatever, for their agile manifesto, which I can bring up right now. I may as well.
And
Given I'm talking about it.
this sentence at the end of the agreement. In witness whereof, the parties hereto, intending to be legally bound hereby, have each cause to be affixed hereto, its or his, her hand, and seal the day indicated.
Yes, exactly.
If
I have
you
a question
agree,
about,
sign here.
4A, it says all necessary and reasonable operating expenses of the venture shall be equally shared by the venture partners. Does that mean that whenever there is an expenditure, you're going to sign up to be part of the shared expenditure? Or does that mean that if we're going to buy something, it's automatically assigned to everyone? And we're like,
It's automatically comes out of the same pool that the whole group is pulling from, basically. So it's assigned
So is
like
that from a fund, or is that from us? That's from money that we.
it'll be a fund. Yeah, it would be
So,
from a fund
yeah,
for us,
it's
or
not like we're all charging.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be from like
I just wanted to
Kickstarter
clarify
funds.
that.
If we
Yes,
Kickstarter something,
from our
it would be
Kickstarter or from any other funds
profits
that we have.
that the company, that the group has put aside, and if we needed something that cost money, we would all have to like pitch in
Yeah,
to get it.
I was about to say, like, theoretically, it is legally saying that if we wanted to, we could all pool funds from our own personal bank accounts
But
for
does
that.
it require?
But it does not require, because like it's just like saying that anything we want to pay. Yeah, it's like I said, it's just what we want to pay is going to come from the pool of whatever resources we have available. Is basically what that's saying.
Okay.
So if we're going to be purchasing something, we have to make sure that it's in the pool. If there's anything that goes beyond, like if we overdraft from our pool, it's up to us to figure that out, like to figure out where that money's coming from, basically. Right. So that's why we have a treasurer. That's why we don't let that kind of stuff happen.
Well, that's why I
and
ask,
if it
because-
does happen, then we've got to figure it out.
And Quinn has to make it up.
yeah, Quinn comes out of your personal bank account. So there you go. But no,
Just
we'll.
wanna clarify the point.
Yeah, that good point. But yeah, we should be okay with that one, so long as we're responsible
Who are
and
these
reasonable with our money. I have a
It
business
doesn't make you worry
friend.
about like, I don't know, in some future date, if like we expanded and
Mhm.
did incur some larger debt that could, that's why you form stuff like LLCs.
Yeah, yeah. If we before we get to that point, we'll have a new agreement. So like we would rearrange this whole thing and just dissolve this venture. This is just for while we're here in CalArts. So it would just be the money that we
I
have,
think
like with
if we get to the point where we make or spend any money at all, we can go back and review
Yeah.
the contract then, because it might be a good time to do that.
It may make more sense to
Yeah.
do this.
And-
If you're gonna do that, you should put a clause in the contract for that. Just as a general thing.
duly noted.
About what?
Having the
About-
ability to go back in and edit it later on.
Yeah.
Well, if we,
One of the clauses, go back in time. And
Yeah, so this sort of stuff, make sure, if you would read through specifically and see if it does mention, because it may already have a clause
yeah, put
or something like that.
comment
If I
about
don't know.
it on the Trello.
Yeah.
so we
I'll
don't
finish
forget
reading through it
Yeah.
and I'll
So read through specifically, and then just leave leave comments and questions like this on the Trello page itself, because that is something that we do need to be very careful about. We do need to definitely make sure that it's all formatted properly, and yeah, we don't want to screw ourselves over here. And he's being as nice as he possibly can, making every allowance that he can, but it's like maybe somebody missed something, maybe we didn't think of something, or whatever. So yeah. Yeah. So the USC thing, like I said, we're on good track. They had a couple of other like tools and stuff like that they mentioned that were useful. I forget what they were called. Jira, I think, was one. If programmer guys are familiar with that. Huh? No, it wouldn't have been worth it for you to take the class. No. So good job.
I just wanted to point that out.
Yes, no, that was definitely not something that would have been worth it for you. It was worth it to know that we're on good track, but yeah, pretty much everything was keep doing what you're doing. So Jira is a kind of like a Trello sort of thing. It seemed to be specifically for programmers, so I don't know if it's anything
How do you spell that?
JIRA. Not free, so that's the issue.
It sounds
Okay.
like Trello's working fine.
Yeah, so Trello seemed to be working fine for us, but I think that's the only other thing that
Maybe
they
it's a bigger team, so-
brought up that I didn't
I think
have.
we have to have a really
You can
good
play
reason
with
to start using a different system.
It was just like other options and thoughts and whatever, and yeah, there was very, very little that we didn't already have covered, so good job, team. We've got this going. We're organized and stuff. Yay, us. Woo.
Well, yeah, you managed to.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. Other note of interest, I got an email yesterday from, are you guys familiar with Skybound?
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
No, Starbound. Starbound or Skybound? Skybound.
What is the?
The only Skybound I'm finding is a comics publishing.
Yes, that's the one.
So Robert Kirkman's thing.
Yes, so not his thing, but his buddy's, I don't see the actual webpage for it. Anyway, got an email from the head of, was it digital media or something like that, of Skybound. Skybound owns The Walking Dead. They're the owners of the comic book series for The Walking Dead. They have a digital media section that is intended for making games. They want to talk to us.
Which is interesting, knowing that
Yeah.
they also got Fable, right?
I'm not sure.
And all that got through Telltale.
Aren't there already some Walking Dead games?
There are.
Yeah.
I don't know what they want to talk about it specifically, but
Yeah.
I'll be talking to them next Thursday, so I'll let you guys know during the next meeting.
Are
But,
you thinking of something really small scale?
I have no idea what they're asking for. It
It
was.
may not have anything to do with The Walking Dead.
Yeah, it may not have anything to do with The Walking Dead. It may not have anything to do with anything. It may just be like, hey, we like what you guys are doing. Here's some money, or maybe just, hey, we like what you guys are doing. Cool idea. Keep it up.
Maybe they
I don't know what the deal is.
Where you're looking in your fridge and just sort zombies.
Is next
Yes, perfect.
is next
Sorting
week
zombie
also
master.
Way Forward coming back?
Yeah, next week should be Way Forward as well. Hopefully. Assuming all, no, not Way Forward. Yacht Club.
Oh.
Sorry, Yacht Club.
Don't do that while they're here.
Yeah.
Well, he said Way Forward. I was thinking Yacht Club because
Well,
I
I
know
thought
next
that
week.
the original
No.
schedule was that Yacht Club was going to come this week, and then Way Forward was going to come next week.
That is
No,
true.
the original, well, sort of. Yacht Club was supposed to come this week.
Yeah.
Supposed to come last week. They're going to get bumped back to next week.
Okay.
Way Forward is coming in sometime later. I don't have a
Okay.
specific date as for that just yet.
Okay.
But they'll come in. They have surprises for us, etc.
Whoa.
I mentioned
Nathan,
this last meeting.
Nathan, I should inform you that I have this terrible, terrible syndrome. It applies mostly to presents on Christmas and my birthday. Where if I know I am getting something and don't know what it is, I go insane.
That's good.
So screw you.
You're welcome. So everyone, let's
Surprises, it's
spend the
jobs.
next week every day.
That's
Somebody take a
Should we
picture of
wait
Taylor and
until
we'll watch
you
him
find
slowly
out what
devolve
it
into
is?
insanity.
In the way that you would shake a present box.
Give Nick a kiss, he might tell you.
Yeah.
That's not no. Sorry, not happening.
I can let you in really late at night till we sleeping.
No. I wouldn't even notice, probably, sadly.
I should know.
Oh man. Moving on.
To Facebook.
Moving on. Oh God.
Glad you started this group
Aren't I just?
and let us be in it.
Okay, so I think that's all the notable.
I don't know. I feel weird sitting in front of one of these Screw
No,
them.
no one's ever in here.
Yeah, the animators don't actually really know about this room.
Hey, this is experimental.
Character animators don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is experimental lab.
This is the experimental.
Okay.
This is experimental's last refuge, which during Crunch Week is still mostly character animators.
Yeah, not
It's
surprised.
very frustrating if you're
The
a
struggle
animator.
is done.
So let's carry on with, I guess, one of these two projects, either Legulary or Coffee Cutie. Anybody preference as to how we start?
But yeah,
Anybody
anybody,
faster,
would-
but-
Okay.
anybody want to
Yeah.
volunteer for modeling / art work on Legendary? Because obviously we
Well,
can do that.
While there will be specifically low model, just as a note.
Oh, is it
A low poly.
2D or 3D?
It's 3D.
Oh, but
It's gonna be a low poly.
Gameplay with 3D models.
Let me
I might be able to help.
let me
I don't
bring.
think we're quite understanding the. Yeah, it's very.
So it's gonna be a 3D model, you said?
Hold on.
It's gonna be a 2D model.
I'm going to pull up the image right now.
3D program.
Shush.
Like how South Park.
Shush, all of you.
How like Rayman Legends is made and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like South Park is made entirely in Maya.
Yeah.
So
You're right,
it's
it's
going to
like
be
video.
scenes done in Maya.
This is it. Right now.
Yeah, this is not it at all.
Oh yes.
What the heck? This is the worst. This is the worst. Yes, Tuesday is GDC next.
Epic battlefields in Super Smash Brothers. Settle
Yeah,
in
we're
and
gonna hop
smash with Super Smash Brothers.
There are talks that start at 10.
Rated everyone 10 and up.
So depending on anybody's interest in going to those talks at 10.
Not after afternoon.
Like,
We
I'll meet you.
available as quiz.
Would you
Okay.
have class in
The
today
screenshot
morning?
up here in the right corner.
Because I can't.
And that
I was
is based.
planning to do in the afternoon.
I don't.
See there? And then
There we go.
texture map.
But wait, how late were you planning on going?
Have it just like in any
afternoon-
other.
afternoon.
Send me a mess. Wait, you can't send me a message. Wait, send me a message on Slack.
Okay, figure this out later. Legulary happening right now. So this is the model. This is what the character looks like from Broken Age. So this is the technique that I'm talking about.
And that is just a
So
profile shot. Those are all planes
Yeah.
that are just shaped that way, right?
it's just one I don't know if it's just a solid object like with actual dimension because I want to say there's a little bit of depth to it, but either way we would just do planes and it would work just fine. So regardless of exactly how they manage that, planes would work.
And separate objects, right? So her hands,
Yes.
her arms can go over.
It would be kind of like a puppet tool in After Effects sort of situation where you have like different chunks of the body and whatever else, and you would just rig those up based on a little simple bone structure, simple IK rig for the feet,
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
and you can just stretch it.
It's definitely the way to do it.
like start as one drawing and they just
Sort of.
It was made in Photoshop, but they
Yeah.
layered it in such a way that they could easily put it onto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they
And-
probably then just projected it and then shaped a plane.
If anybody saw,
Yeah.
if anybody was here for the Journey talk, Jackie mentioned kind of like how his methodology for working in a very similar way. So like you just draw it out flat, extrude it.
Polygons.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
If you can watch the whole talk this is from on your own time, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
And you can see, I believe, a great big bald head and definitely a big
No,
orange
you can't see
background.
me.
You
You're
can't
right,
see
almost
you.
middle, almost in
Yeah,
the middle of
you
the
can see me.
screen.
You can see it right
Wait,
where
you
it
guys
is.
are supposed to
upside
link
down.
to it?
I think I did.
Yeah.
On the resources board?
On where?
Somewhere.
Where did I post it?
It was like
Um,
on the,
It was on the Facebook feed.
Sure. I don't remember.
Okay, I'll make sure that it's somewhere obvious. But yeah,
Okay, yeah, because I'd like to check it out.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was just talking about like the UV framework type of things too. Like not exactly like that, but it's like how that's like 2D
And
and
you can
3D.
stretch.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's really
So-
nice. The talk is really nice also because they go through the camera system that they used and
Yeah, there's a bunch of
how
cool
the
stuff in the
different areas
talk.
are laid out.
And we can
They
actually-
want to make an adventure game.
We can actually borrow quite a bit of that. I'm not sure how much. I'm not sure what the timing is on this, so I don't know what to like where to push this
Awesome. I was a
video.
little worried
But
about
like all of the backgrounds and everything on this game
again the highlight.
are
of
all
that
3D.
Yeah.
Let's see
All
if it pulls
this
apart.
information was available.
But they're just like 2D, or they're just planes on top of. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So they're just individual planes. If you can see there, each it's like a multi-plane camera sort of setup.
That's how I made airtight.
Yeah.
like 2 years ago.
And,
Yeah.
But that,
So,
the
oh, there's Taylor right
so
there.
we sort of look at, okay, what do
All
we
right,
do?
here he is. I'm over here
There's
somewhere. You can't see
example,
me.
Monkey Island that I remember really fondly. And this is entirely fake.
There he is.
Instead of walking depth, they would create these walk boxes, which would define where the player could walk. And as the player walked up or down in the street,
Yeah, so this was GDC Next last year.
which would give the
This
illusion
year,
that
none
they're
of the
walking
talks were
on
that
the
exciting.
Yeah.
As long as the
They
camera
got some
didn't
kind of
move.
cool stuff.
Who's coming?
Just,
Just in nutshell.
this is what
Who's coming?
There's a list on the.
Yeah,
it's a bunch of random
A lot
stuff.
of talks on Tuesday are by Mozilla talking about building games for in-browser.
Oh.
They've been pushing that shit so hard.
Yeah,
They
it's
have.
awesome.
There's
Yeah.
also a
It's
talk,
really weird.
there's a talk presented by Unity and Intel
Yeah.
about developing for big Android.
Mhm.
Big
I'm
Yeah.
dressing up
Like,
right
I
now.
think it's
Well,
mostly
it's-
high-level apps.
It's a they're talking about technical side of things, how to optimize for Android's limitations.
Yeah, theoretically that would also be if you wanted to go on a micro console like
Yeah.
Ouya.
But yeah. So anyway, so this is like this method would kind of work for Legulary, I think.
definitely.
So we can get like a kind of a multi-plane setup. We can do a very simple, I think, very simple sort of visual shading style would work pretty well for it. Given that we want to stretch the legs, we want to make sure that those legs are stretchable. To do that, we're going to have to make sure that the color won't look funny while stretched. So detail is not going to happen.
Oh yeah, I was about to say about the art style and stuff. I had something in mind, like when I was thinking about it at first, but
Mhm.
I didn't know if anyone else had anything they would think would work best. Like mine was kind of like a really like plain, not plain, but just like lots of white, like kind of like sketchbooky kind of lines with some color and stuff. Kind of like if you know the Batman Pyro-Man cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which one?
Batman, I'm sorry.
Or like if we saw that Bagger 288 animation.
There's a Bagger 288 animation.
It seems like that'd be hard to relate up to the animation. Like the charm of it.
Yeah, 'cause a lot of it is about those like wobbly lines. And,
Okay,
Yeah,
that
that's
is
very
not
difficult.
Bagger 288.
No, no, it is. It is. It's a song written about that machine.
No, it's not the song. It's like a flash animation type thing, but.
Oh, okay. It's unrelated to the song. It's just
Yeah.
also about that machine.
Yeah,
So this?
Okay.
So if you're looking for this sort of like wobbly line sort of stuff, it can work. You can do that in Maya. You can, but that sort of simplistic sort of drawn style. Okay. That actually might not be a bad idea. Like, if we do pure, just black and white line work sort of stuff. Yeah. Just rectangles and stick drawings out of it. Yeah, I think that would be the
Or like WarioWare.
WarioWare, yeah.
I personally prefer the design of the original Rhythm Heaven, but they're sprites, not vector. And they're really pixely.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should looks like Muscle March. Just
Yeah, so I wasn't like saying like make it squiggly and black and white, but more like make it really flat.
Really flat sort of style. Okay.
I like that idea, and I love the concept sketches for Larry and stuff.
Yeah. I also like the serious outline going on.
Because since it's a side scroller, it would have to be like a lot of layout, so I don't want to have like so much detail that it would be hard for whoever's calling that.
Yeah, yeah.
I would call it assembling the backgrounds and obstacles and everything, like building the scene. But we need assets for that. We need
Yeah, we would
a lot
need
of
assets for it.
Yeah, another for assets like so obstacles. Does anyone have anything they want like the first?
So actually, I do. I was thinking about it for grayboxing in this game, for getting it just functional in the first place. Do you have ideas as to the control methodology for it? Okay, so we get that, and I was thinking if we could manage to make that fun, just trying to walk over like a seesaw, you know, just trying to like walk past like a seesaw kind of situation.
I was thinking some simple physics puzzles.
Some simple physics, yeah.
On on the movement, I want it to be like, I don't want it to be really fast, like WAP almost. I want it to have like some, like a momentum almost, so it's kind of like slow so you have time, because I don't want it to be frustrating.
You're right. Yeah, I was thinking that you would try to have some weight to your feet, so
Yeah, so it kind of like walks almost like a
right,
stop motion little monster movie thing.
right, and you might have to like kind of throw your feet around a little bit in order to get where you need to go.
Yeah.
So Octodad sort of feel.
Yeah,
basically.
more, a little more deliberate than.
Yeah. Less quap, more Octodad.
Then a run.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, just like
Not as squiggly and awkward as Octodad, because you don't have as many.
Not built to be uncontrollable, but
Yeah.
almost like trying to move a marionette puppet almost.
Okay. So marionette puppet
So quick
style.
question about the project. What are our lead roles? Who's our director? Who's game designer?
Yeah.
Alright.
So that we do need to figure out.
I assume
Yeah,
the
I can help
director.
organizing that a bit. Like, so I'm just gonna ask for how long.
You need to be art director. You need to have, because you really have a clear aesthetic and idea of what you
Yeah.
want. And I mean, it would be great if you, like, you know, do the board direction.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking honestly, you could be art director since you're the person with concept and you have a pretty clear vision.
Yeah.
I volunteered for either or of the director and game designer spots. I don't necessarily want to do both, but I can. I don't know if anybody else wants to step up for one or the other.
For game design specifically, you're talking about?
Or director.
If I had
Well,
the time, I would.
Director, the director position can stay with him, saying this is his project. So like he's going to be kind of generally directing regardless of what role he takes on anything else. But it's feasible to have like him do both the director and art directing kind of situation.
If that's the
You
case,
know,
I'm totally down to be game designer.
it's up to you. I mean.
Sure.
And about the game design, so we were talking about like when he grows. So I know like the first part is him getting out of the house of the tutorial, so he's not too tall.
Right.
And then like there's like 3 or 2 sections depending how much time we have. But like if the first section is most more, it's like this neighborhood. I wanted him like walking through backyards and stuff because that's a lot of opportunities for stuff to get through. Bulls, dogs, trampoline,
Sure.
kids, people like
Oh God, trampolines.
Yeah. Yeah.
roller skates, just like skateboards and stuff.
Each of those would require
Or like he'll just bite on his leg and like shake it off, and it'll just go flying. Oh, no, another thing, like I want lots of stuff you can knock down. That's my favorite things to do in these types of games. Is just like stop. Like I don't know if you can have like some kind of weird physics thing where it just like things just like kind of knock over if you floaty kind of way, but not really, or just like any type of destruction to make something satisfying. Like,
You just walk through like a kid's birthday party. There's a big bounce house that is like
And a clown.
And so, like, I was thinking, like, it would just be a short growing period between the 2 different areas, so it can be, like, consistent, because if you keep growing throughout the whole thing, like, how do you handle, like, walking back to places you've been before? Are they going to be consistent where you can't walk backwards and it has a point?
I was thinking about that. If it calculates just up, and like if you go back, it just kind of stays at the maximum, whatever maximum you went to, it could make for some interesting level design in that you could go forward consistently for like all the main roles. So like your goal is all just to move to the right. But if you go back to certain sections, you can get like some bonus items and things like that. So we can just toss in little Easter eggs and things behind you that you couldn't reach because you weren't tall enough there. So like, if we go that route, that's something that we could play with.
Wait. You're talking about Metroidvania right now.
No, not to that extent. No, not to that extent. Not to that extent. Just like some extra coins or whatever, like off to the side that you can't quite reach.
Bonuses, nothing required.
No, exactly. Bonuses, nothing required. Just like some extra points, maybe some funny things, like you have, I don't know, a dog in the clouds or something like that. Just some silly stuff.
So it would be a score-based game.
I don't. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not saying.
I wanted to bring that up. Is there any other goal that we want to have in mind other than getting to the doctor and like?
No, I just really wanted getting to the doctor and just avoiding, like, just trying to, like, get around on the way.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we wanted to penalize destruction in some way, but it seems like that's probably not something we want to do because of your point of like liking to knock things over and having things to destroy.
Yeah. Another thing, like a penalty system. I don't know, like how, because like I don't want it to be easy to die.
You would shrink, grow up. Like every time you bumped an obstacle, you would shrink back to size.
Well, that seems like that would be a good thing.
Right. It's like the whole thing
Maybe you
is
have
that
like a
you don't
time
want to
limit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, you know.
Oh, vice versa. I mean, I don't know.
I think a time limit.
Like, or instead of a time limit, it's constantly moving, so you have to keep up.
Oh yeah.
Something like that.
Like
Something that
level.
forces you to keep moving as opposed to something that punishes you for not doing well enough. I don't think there should be any
Yeah, so, like,
punishment
if you
necessarily.
if you like get left behind, if you like can't keep up and you like hit the back of those like Yoshi Island type of levels where it's just like keep moving.
Yeah.
Then it could just show.
Alternatively, I
It's
feel like
easy.
across the country, like
Taylor?
I feel like depending on the level design and the puzzles, I mean, I don't know if it needs additional difficulty. It could just be a matter of you need to get past this thing.
Yeah.
And it could be that. It could be something as simple as
Lights
that.
and-
Yeah, we can. I don't know, like
Like if
For-
you have an end goal that you're trying to get to, I feel like the point of the game is to get to that goal, so you don't need to get to that goal necessarily in a certain amount of time. You just need to get there.
I
Yeah.
don't
Which
know.
means
I
you need
think
to get
that it's
past.
good to have like some kind of pressure. Otherwise,
Yeah.
like, what are you doing?
Well,
Maybe the doctor closes at a certain
Like-
time. Like, that's
Get
Yeah.
there.
That's right. That makes sense.
And then
Just
there could be
bump
like
on
a mode where there's no time limit. You can just goof
Mhm.
around and.
Yeah. So like, I think for the core gameplay though, we have to have some kind of restriction. There has to be some limitation as to you making it from point A to point B. It doesn't matter what that limitation is, but
What
it has
about
to be
like
something.
life system? Like I don't know if like dogs can hurt you or if you like hit a plane in the head.
I think stuff like electrical wires
Yeah.
would be a problem.
Yeah, like that. Like
Maybe
there's
we
things you
just
can knock
slow you
away.
down, and then when the screen is actually reaching its limits, it's too late to get to the doctor, but it would just every obstacle would just slow you down if you're not not.
Or you could just like go outside of the atmosphere and you can't breathe anymore. Or like the military starts coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the thing
Like,
with the time limit though, like if you
you
die
could
at
have,
time
like,
limit,
tanks
I don't
and
want to
stuff.
have to like restart at the end because that can be frustrating. Like
Checkpoints.
Or restarting at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean checkpoints would be the thing.
idea. Like I feel like that would be incorporated. Like there's a low obstacle where you just step over, and there's a high obstacle where you have to like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a crouch and a step over.
Okay, so on that note though, before we add any extra mechanics, how would we crouch? Because the idea of this game is to control just your
I
legs.
definitely have an idea, but since we're going to use the shoulder buttons to lean one way or the other,
Limbo.
both can crouch.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing the
first,
shoulder
like,
buttons for leaning.
Where do
Okay.
the legs go when you crouch?
You just outward.
Depends.
I'm a bit confused as to the perspective of the game.
Perfectly side-scroller.
So it is side scrolling. So what is the
Like that right there.
entail?
You would
What
do
is the
limbo.
leaning? Like leaning forward and back?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
to kind of limbo.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Also, as part of just walking forward.
So like when you say lean, you're talking like torso tipping one way. Right, exactly.
Yeah, you crouch on the knees.
I was
So
thinking,
it'll
I was
lower
thinking
you.
shoulder to shoulder, and I didn't understand what. Yeah, it's basically like in order to move forward, you're gonna want to lean forward and then like start moving your legs in that direction.
I was envisioning this torso back and forward, and then you're using that with moving your legs to actually walk.
Also, anyone knows the game Big Ribbon?
Yeah,
It's never released. It's a music game. It's like on the system. You have cycles, and you press the right buttons, and you can all the rabbits is like going from one way to another, and it works musically, so creating a sound.
Oh yeah, I'll just like sell
It's
bagels,
really
right?
reminded me of that. I'm sure you know that.
Alright, so like
Okay, yeah. So
if we do like segments,
But we're
like
going in, it's a corporate
transmit
office, so-
between segments, I have the three in mind: the neighborhood, the street, and then the city, which is the final part. Or if it's like constantly growing, then we can just make obstacles as is, and it can just be one long segment.
that's kind of what I was thinking. Just one long segment, just for the smoothness of like just going forward, I guess as it were, or at least like a large enough segment. That's one thing that I did want to.
Too fast, so you don't stay in an area for too.
Yeah, that was my one question that I did get from last night. How long of a play session would we want to have for this? Because that seems rather important for Legularity specifically.
Yeah. So
Like-
how long would you want? Like
Yeah.
that's what, like with levels, you're like, oh, I want to play this part of the game and stuff. There's just one long thing. It's just like, do we have checkpoints?
Right.
That's the thing. Like, it can be segments, but you grow slightly in between, in almost like a transition way. Like, oh, there's like a little transition way where you're just like a small segment where you're growing and stuff, and then you get to the next point where you're fixed, and then you're growing again. So
Yeah, I feel like that would be a good transition between each of the stages.
that way we don't have to focus on like always changing the obstacle heights and stuff. And just,
Yeah,
like, we work on one small scale and then the transition, and then next.
Right.
Yeah, I think it'd be
Right.
difficult to make it constantly growing the whole time too. It'd probably be easier to just have like a short little clip thing.
Like there's spurts. At certain
Yeah.
points.
That's like, and then in terms of making the legs, then
if you wanted any kind of detail, it wouldn't be a problem. You just have a bunch of different legs. Although for this style, I guess that doesn't matter.
I don't think it should be very difficult at all to implement the constantly growing legs, and I've actually thought about in order to limit your leg growth during a specific segment, it grows with your progress through the level rather than time passing, and you won't shrink when you go back. And yeah, I don't really see any problems implementing that, but if like game design wise or physically you don't want to do that, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think I want to do that whole consistent the whole time.
Yeah.
I'd rather have transitions. To be honest.
Yeah.
That's just me.
So like you would rather have like levels that are just one consistent leg length?
Yeah, with just like growing transitions in between each one. So once you reach the end, you'll start growing a bit. So you're like, oh, we're growing now, and then you're at the new section where you have to get used to the new height and the new obstacles.
So my only issue with that is it kind of like breaks the growth away from the player. So the player will never actually feel like they're growing necessarily.
Oh, I think it's like more like, oh, this is like how tall he is at all, and then like he grows more for the next part. I don't know. That's what I.
It
Right,
seems like
let's-
you guys are considering a lot of factors for a lot of different aspects of the game right now. So maybe you need to figure out what the most important thing to decide on first is.
Yeah.
Like, is it the way that character's going to grow and how often that should happen, and if it's continuous or it happens in spurts or different checkpoints? Like that's probably one of the most important things, getting the movement down, and then maybe you guys can like sort of build on that.
Well, like if I had a choice, I'd pick be like fixed segments with checkpoints where you grow, because that way you don't have to keep consistent. That way you can get used to a height and
But do
stuff.
you want to get used to all that? It seems like that kind of defeats the point of the game if the point of the game is to be like awkward.
That's kind of my thinking.
I think it could still be fun if they were
Yeah.
regular enough.
I just want it to get weird like throughout the whole thing, but not and gradually like weirder. Just like different points where it just gets weirder almost.
What if we did it like a Katamari style?
That's sort of like what I was.
Yeah,
No
it's
one
like,
likes
it's
it.
like a
Like
gradual growth
Katamari
and
gets
then
big gradually, and then
Yeah,
every once in a
that's-
while you hit like a.
You hit a point where it's like,
Yeah.
and then you get like a whole new kind of area.
Yeah, that's what I was actually thinking of. I didn't know, like, I like that a lot more, like, what I was thinking, like, in between was a really, like, bigger growth spurt that you can grow bigger.
Okay, so like the level design itself would be fairly consistent within a Katamari style. So you
Yeah.
have different chunks, but they're at that same time they're very distinctive chunks. So like you have to progress
Yes,
to X amount,
exactly. That's exactly
you
what
grow,
I'm
you get this
going
huge instantaneous spurt, and then you continue that whole level within that spurt.
Yes.
Okay.
We still retain the quirkiness of like moving the legs by legs and everything. So that's something that's already present. We may not have to have this continuous growth. We can definitely have several gameplay aspects as you grow up and change and refresh the gameplay as we go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really like
Okay.
that.
So
That works.
Katamari style. And I think
Yeah,
we're
I really,
Will
the
we
thing
have
is, like, it
someone
wasn't about like
talking
legs,
to
it was more
you?
about I really wanted like distinct areas.
okay. That makes sense. So if we do it that way, then that opens up a lot in terms of the level design. But we have to figure out what causes the growth spurts. So like, is it
Which
times? Is it an item? Is it like an area that you reach? Is it like
Yeah,
what?
I want it to be once you like go like once you reach the end of the area, it just gets.
But I think we're thinking like thematically what's causing this.
Well, even then, like either thematically or non-thematically, like so you have an area that you're within. You reach the end of that area, and then the whole like level kind of expands, and you see more, and you grow at the same time. You get more like the Katamari sort of style thing to it.
get
So
food.
you have more area to explore within that level. So like, is there like a point that you reach in that level? Do you have to like find a power
The
up?
whole point of a side scroller is to get to the end. So like, technically, it's technically the end of the level, but since it's like almost like continuous.
What would define the end of the level and the beginning of the next one?
Yeah,
Is
that's
it,
what-
like I understand what you say. What triggers those spurts? If it's like is snacking and getting food, or is
I don't know how important that would be if like because like the whole point of his disease is that he is growing just because.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
So-
feel like it could just be arbitrary. It's you're bigger now.
As long as we have a feeling that okay, this is the end of the level almost.
Yeah, because like in Katamari, it's like you see it coming because you know that like okay, there's a landmark like size that I'm hitting, but at the same time it's sort of random whenever you just happen to pick up that last piece.
Right. But there's an
the goal
important
of
distinction
Katamari
there.
Is to collect things.
That's true.
This is,
But yeah, there's an important distinction there, though, in that this is game design. So Katamari is designed around the player interacting with the game. The player causes their own growth.
Yeah.
The player's actions are what cause that to happen. They know that when they get this like X amount, they may not know what X is, but they know that when they hit that X, they're going to get to a larger area, and they'll have to explore, and they'll have to work within larger boundaries. Well, right. So, like, the question is though, like, what is the player doing that's going to cause the legs to happen? So even if it's just denoted with like a flag, like you reach this point,
Yeah,
you know, that's fine. But it has to be something that the player does
You know,
has
you
to
have
cause
to get
it.
to the doctor. And like, if he keeps growing bigger, that means it's getting worse. So you gotta that's just keeping going to the doctor.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think it's
But, like,
just
in
a
the
matter of
checkpoints?
on the path to the doctor, giving the
Right.
player a warning that you're about to get bigger. Just-
I don't know. I really don't feel like it needs that like a big explanation or like.
Well, we don't need a big explanation, but just
Or, like,
something to
Yeah,
cue
it doesn't
it.
need to be a thematic explanation. It just needs to be a kind of thing that you get used to. It's like, oh, this is the end of the level, I'm about to get bigger.
But just like at the end.
I don't know. I really want to
like,
actually
like a
surprise
sign.
people when they get bigger. Not like surprises that oh I'm bigger out of nowhere, but just like where you just reach the end and you just get
But
bigger.
at the end of each level, there's like a sign that says like you are now entering the city, or you are now entering like this.
Something to let you know you're in a new area and then you just get bigger. That's all I was really kind of like wanting for it.
Right.
Maybe we should be considering this more on a like section per section basis and level per level basis, because it could be like you get out of your house and all of a sudden your legs grow some more, and like you get out of your neighborhood and all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
Yeah, that's what happens. So, like,
Yeah.
you're small, kind of small in the house, not too big. And the minute you walk out of the house, you grow a spurt for the neighborhood section, and then that kind of
Okay.
sets
So
the
we're
idea that
I mean, that could be fine if it's just like from section to section. It's like you leave your neighborhood, you leave the park, you leave the city, you leave the whatever.
Yeah.
We need to game design, level design.
Yeah, I'm happy to do level design, honestly. So I'm happy to be the guy
I'm
for
happy
that
to
if you
do
want.
this.
Okay, cool. Is that
Yeah,
cool?
so like the house thing is just like he's on like the second floor and you gotta like go you like tumble down the stairs almost just to get out. It's like kind of this like really flat kind of thing where you see like inside the house. So
Okay, yeah, we'll figure.
I'll post some sketches.
Yeah, we'll figure out. I'll keep in touch on that one. Yeah, okay. So we'll go from like Katamari style, like from section to section. Every time you reach like a certain point, it just kind of you just grow after progressing to a certain amount. Are we just talking left to right progression? So just like a linear, like Mario style progression?
Sometimes just
Okay.
do skydiving.
Hmm?
Like
What?
Like the game we play. When
Skydiving?
you're on the dragon's back at Indicate. At some point you jump and you do skydiving. Remember that?
Yes.
That's great.
Yes. So at some point you'll jump and start skydiving.
You guys should put a dragon.
We should definitely put 3 dragons.
And rainbows.
And
Because-
rainbows.
because
Rainbow
Katamari-
dragons. We should put rainbow dragons.
Rainbow dragons! Oh my gosh, it's like Dragon
I
Tales.
think there should be coyotes.
Oh, rainbow coyote dragons. Yes.
With one unique horn.
Yes.
Dragon's unique horn.
A zoo level and
Unique dragons.
Oh my god. Okay, so that gives us. So we have the basic visuals covered. We have the basic visuals thought out. We have the basic like how the characters are going to be made thought out. We have the general outline of the levels and how they're going to progress and those sorts of things. I think we have enough now. We can actually plan the
Yeah.
actual game
I
in
would
the
like to
production.
suggest a part of the level before you get to the city where you
Sure.
walk past Cal Arts and you walk through a mysterious purple haze and things get weird for a little bit. Because then you can have your coyote dragons.
I'm in favor.
Nice,
It
nice.
is
Oh
only a
my
half serious.
god.
Ignore me.
Okay.
Coyote dragon's only one step away from the dog dragon, and that's basically Peliport.
Jesus. Okay, so we have an art. Oh my god.
Is that the game?
Ajun just sent something in the Twitch,
Our legs are long.avi. That is beautiful.
and it's Team Enrique.
Okay.
It's a Team Enrique show, I guess.
So we have the visuals for the game. Back to the actual meeting here. We have the visuals for the game. We have Alex is going to be the art director himself. If Ness is going to be the game designer / person, whatever. Yeah.
I'm down to like sort of organize and crack whips and all that good stuff.
Okay. Me and him will do levels, level concept and stuff.
I'll help with that too.
So we need somebody for character art. Hannah, you know rigging? by chance? Interested?
Maya rigging?
Very simple Maya rigging. So like I said, IK rig, be 2D planes, just like planes, and then just drawings on them or whatever. Just all set up kind of like a puppet tool in After Effects sort of situations with an IK on the foot. And we can just parent the IK to whatever. I assume we can just parent the IK like an IK rig for whatever is the control method for the say boxes or whatever it is you use for testing. Mechanism, yeah, that can all be done within Unity.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that I need at least like some basic model and shape of the person with,
Sure.
with the rigging and bones in order to get started with the like ending.
Okay. Okay. So.
It can just be like a total like stick figure stand-in.
Okay. Well, either way, I don't know. I'm not all that comfortable doing IK rigs myself in Maya. I've never done one on its own. Have you, I assume? Okay. Bare bones, just like a couple of... Because it would be like gaming rigs are as simplistic as humanly possible, so just a couple of bones just to get the idea down, I think, and as long as it's movable, I think it's fine.
So you just want like the skeleton right now? Or?
Basically, it will. I think we will need for testing purposes stretchy legs. Are you familiar with at all? Okay. I think I've got a tutorial on stretchy legs. I might be able to send, or maybe able to look at myself. I should. Anyway, yeah, we'll figure something out for that. I'll be in touch with you very, very soon. I don't know if Advanced Skeleton is going to work with Unity. Yeah.
I think no, unfortunately. And again, I'm pretty sure Unity is on the AFK, but I might as well just try it out.
Then, is there some other method that would work for having stretchy limbs like this?
Well, yeah, you can. What I'm saying is that you will need to animate everything in FK.
Well, we would need to control it through the control. That's the issue.
That I have no idea. Ness will work on making a name for that.
So the legs themselves, are they all like woolly or what's the deal?
The leg. Think of an Octodad, so the legs themselves are the controls. So you have like the left stick is the left leg, the right stick is the right leg. Sort of
But what
situation where you're actually.
we're curious about is like, are there
joints?
Are
or is
there
it like
joints
spaghetti
or
legs?
is
It's
it
like
spaghetti
Jack
legs?
Skellington legs, basically.
Yeah, I'm imagining like Jack
Okay.
Skellington, two big sticks that just kind of like rotate,
Well,
and they just have to
I mean,
kind of interpolate
you could
between.
just like do a quick workaround and just scale the parts of the legs. And then you have to write a script so that the joint doesn't change location.
You can use some hinges and joints and everything in Unity. You can use you have a full ragdoll system in Unity.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is all doable based on
Yeah.
what we have planned thus far. Though.
Very confident in this.
Yeah. So okay, Ness, we'll just leave that on your shoulders.
What?
The leggy Larry walking thing. We'll. I guess what we'll need to know is how do we need to set up the character? Like what kind of integration?
Okay.
Yeah, which I think is probably not something you're well versed in.
I will need to look into that a little bit. I was looking into it earlier today. It's pretty much like I probably don't even know how to describe what I need right now.
Okay.
But I'm kind of like looking into that.
So I guess you and Hannah work together on that. Anna knows rigging and modeling and all that sort of stuff. You know the technical side of things and figure out what is necessary to get that functional. Because you two will definitely have to work together as to how that character is going to have to be made. This is going to be an interesting one. However it needs to get made, do it that way, and then we'll figure the rest out afterwards.
Yes.
Flat planes, that's the only restriction, I think.
What about music? We're not thinking of that.
Music!
Music. I'd love to do the music.
Would stuff be triggered by music?
It needs to be musical.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Don't worry about
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben has been freaking out about the music on this game for a while, so I think he's your guy.
Cool. Yeah, because that's like it's kind of like I don't want any like 8-bit music or anything, but like just almost like this weird, fun jazzy typeness. I don't know, like the whole song. The only song I was thinking about when I was just like thinking of the last level of Destruction, like what would be so ridiculously unfitting and stuff. So I just it's Tom Jones. It's not unusual. Playing. Like, just play that song. Like someone pull that song up and just.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have sound.
I do.
I think we all know that song.
I think we do, though.
Like,
Still
we all
just
gotta
need the-
tune in our minds.
I don't think I have sound. I think it's actually broadcasting sound. I want to say that I caught that.
Oh, no, one wants to play ads, goddammit.
Mine didn't play ads. We have the
YouTube
same.
obviously likes you better.
No, we don't have the same video. I'm from USA Soccer 2010.
Great.
I don't know why.
I'm like, what would play during the climax? Like this.
Tra-la-la-la-la.
Oh, that's
I
a
know,
lot.
this is really dumb. And then we can all do the Carlton. It'll be great.
And you just hear like all these fires, like these sirens, these helicopter noises, explosions.
Oh, and screaming.
Yeah,
There.
screaming, people panicking just during this.
That's great. Yeah. I'm totally down for this.
But like the beginning levels or stuff, I want like a bit slower, jazzy type tune.
What about the end you
And I
accidentally
don't know, I
destroyed?
don't know how plausible this is from a programming standpoint, is have multiple versions of the same track that crossfade into each other as you get to new parts of the level.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
doable and not all that difficult, actually.
Very, very possible.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because like you could start off with that kind of thing like on ukulele or something, and have it start super small and like add a bit for every section.
So then by the time you get to the city, it's full Tom Jones.
Fuck
brass.
yeah.
I like this idea.
That's
Yes.
what they have for Shadow of Colossus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're merging all the
For Shadow of
Shadow of
Colossus.
Colossus.
Going from one track to another.
That is a bit different because those are actually two separately written tracks that don't blend. There's
Okay.
a specific end of the first one and then they start the second.
Yeah, this though would have basically just a counter so that all three tracks know
Would line
where
up.
they need to be.
Right. Well, basically, they would all be playing, and then you would just mix them in as they
doing crossfade.
So-
I have a toolkit for that, and
Oh,
I've
perfect.
done a lot of shit with Fmod.
Also, on that note, I saw the breakdown of Hyperlight Drifter, and that's how they did it there. They had some little points that have different sound queued up, and like as you approach them, you're within a certain distance of them. That works.
You need to contact
And we
Akash.
have contact with Akash Thakar, the guy who did the sound on that and the music on that, and he wants to come talk to us, or he wants to Skype in and talk to us, I should say. So,
Quick
yeah,
point.
serendipity.
Quick point, I would like any official design document to actually have the phrase "full on Tom Jones."
Okay, well,
just saying.
Ness is taking care of that, I guess. I talked to them. So that's a requirement. That's your headline. I want on top of the whole article. Full on Tom Jones. So yeah.
Okay, yeah,
That-
that's a super cool. That's a super cool concept. That's not what I had in mind, but I think I like it better. So,
You can totally.
Well, that's just for
control
the.
them.
That's not all I think was the last part. The other part of it had something else in mind. I don't remember how to explain it.
Well,
the way I hear it, I'm definitely mentally I'm drawing from the way that Katamari handles the music, where it's like upbeat and zany and it has like a bunch of different textures. So like, I imagine like lots of just weird xylophone stuff, and it's kind of hard to describe tangibly, but it would be something that's hummable and catchy, but like with enough uniqueness to not become annoying fast. And then I think if we do this layering thing, that can make it even more interesting. It's like write each thing to stand on its own, and then add it in so it sort of snowballs.
Yeah, I like something really simple, like a really simple, catchy tune that won't get annoying. But I'm not sure about like the weird instruments or weird sounds in a way. But I don't know. It depends. I don't know how you think. It's
I think
gonna sound
come up
right.
with a concept and then pitch to, and then you can listen to what his idea is, and then you can kind of be like, yeah, I like this, or no, I don't.
Yeah, I'll throw together a demo, and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like.
yeah, it's not like anything final. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, so that'll get that going. Anything else on Larry?
Yeah, anyone have any suggestions or anything you just want to
like this
shout out
one.
what they don't like?
Oh yeah.
Well, I think that's like part of like speeding around. Like it depends on how he falls down. If he falls forward, how do we get him back up?
I think
I'd
that.
like to see him just crumple.
Yes.
Oh.
I think you should give him a fall down because that's like part of like the challenge of like having this unique novel control scheme of walking around.
Mhm.
It's like you're gonna stumble and fall down. Yeah. And then that could just be a penalty in that it takes you longer yet to get up, and the getting up can happen automatically once you fall down. But then you just need to sort of resituate yourself. And I thought that that's kind of what the leaning was going to be about. Is like sort of keeping yourself upright and like leaning in order to walk forward.
Because the one thing I'm really want to avoid is like falling forward to avoid like a large part of the level almost. Because like since he's so tall, he falls forward. He goes a long distance.
That is a concern.
Good point.
That'll be something I think
Unless
that
the
we'll
way
have
it's
to discuss
staged-
for level design.
Unless the way it's staged, where you're kind of like more on the left side of the screen, when you fall forward, you really don't go that far.
Or maybe the way you get up, you just sort of like get up and then stand up.
Or like your legs kind of like flip over behind you, like your legs have full rotation around almost.
Yeah. Or like I something levels designed such that that's either impossible or doesn't matter as much.
Or a
Yeah.
slip on the ass where
Yeah.
where you land where your center of gravity was prior. So like have your feet knocked out from under you and then bam.
Mm.
Or if when you fall forward, you just see the feet. Instead of you go back up. You know, you just see the feet.
Mm-hmm.
No, but if he falls down, you stop the camera from moving forward. You just see.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's like beyond the screen
Right,
entirely.
and
at
he
that
gets
point.
back up where his feet were when he
That's
fell.
true, yeah. Oh, he just fell on his knees and boom, like this, and never really fall. He just gets up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
We'll have to
I think
experiment with
I think
that.
that's going to be an experiment / discuss via Slack sort of thing there.
Only his legs have to move. Like none of his upper body has to like change at all.
Yeah.
Like,
Just totally down to listen to this suggestion, but like, what if you just have to start back from the last checkpoint when he falls down? I think that's basically a way to lose.
but like if you're falling down a lot, that'll get really.
Yeah. So that could get really frustrating if you do it
It's
that
not-
route.
Because like it works for a thing like QWOP because you pull it up online, you play for like 10 minutes, get mad, and post it online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for this one, getting back up would be part of the gameplay.
Yeah.
And like people who are like get good at it won't fall down as much.
Right.
Um,
So yeah.
So
Yes.
I have to go like really, really quick because I'm gonna take up anyone's time. So I am starting a new job tomorrow, which I'm going to thank Taylor for right now. We're developing a platform for games, it simultaneously occurring on people's mobile devices and on large screens. So like I don't know, like a movie theater or Times Square, things like that. We are going to be hiring this year. That's like a done deal. It's going to happen. So Taylor and I are going to a demo right now. The demos are going to be probably weekly, and I'm going to see if I can get them moved off of Thursdays because, like, fuck that. So, like, open invitation. If anybody wants to come to one of these demos, just like shoot me a message. Everybody, you guys are more than welcome.
Cool.
And yeah, there's more to it than that. That was like the.
But right now they're always on Thursdays.
They have been on either Thursdays or Fridays, but I mean, I have not officially started. I officially start on Monday.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm basically going to be getting a team at some point, like a game design team, for the specific purpose of developing beautiful demos and games for this
Awesome.
platform. So
Yeah. Post more on that on the Facebook if you would.
absolutely,
And
yeah. And I'll see you guys around.
Thank you.
Thank you for being welcoming as always.
awesome stuff. Okay. So we spent an hour on Legularry. Let's move to Coffee Cutie, shall we?
We actually
Are we going to
moved.
be talking about Lux today as well? I'm just wondering about that.
Yes, I can talk some about that as well.
Okay.
That's not your problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. We have Coffee Cutie and Legularry. We're very alliterative this time around. I enjoyed that that's how that kind of fell together.
All right.
Go for it.
So let's talk about the technology.
Clearly have this under control.
Yeah. So, I mean, most of the stuff is like pretty much locked down. Does anybody have any questions just sort of off the bat? Like, is there anything that's kind of unclear, but like that wasn't answered on the board already? Because I know like a couple of you are like working on the game. Nope, good. Okay. So just for clarity's sake, so I'm the game lead on this. Rodrigo will be doing the programming. So any programming points, take to him. Jessica's going to be the art director, so you can talk to her about any art stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's your 3 major roles within the game. So the big things that we wanted to talk to you guys about today are going to be the pipeline for working on the game. We want to keep all of the assets really consistent, so we're going to be working in this pixel style. The resolution's got to be really consistent, or else it's going to look weird.
Did you get a chance to take a look at the thing right before me?
Which thing?
I
Oh,
pulled
the
a lot of
archive?
stuff about pipeline management.
Yeah.
I did not get to see the new stuff, but we can talk about it, so it's good. So I posted a bunch of stuff on the G Drive last night. That'll be kind of your reference if you're working on the art stuff. So what you're going to do if you're working on art stuff on the game right now is you're going to go to the G Drive, you're going to open temp assets for art, if it'll ever go, and all of these little temp assets should be here. And these are all just like really sort of not so good little drawings, but they're size reference. So you should be able to open these up and they're 200 by 200 and just make a new layer in Photoshop or whatever pixel program you're using and just draw the same asset on top of it. Like, you don't have to use the same design as is here, just make it the same size.
So 200 by 200.
So 200 by 200,
Okay.
and then just give me a PNG that's the same size.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be able to size it up later if we, however we need to.
Yeah, the whole point of these is like these are all 200 by 200 canvas, but this lets you know exactly what kind of space it's supposed to occupy, so you don't end up making it like a wacky resolution that doesn't work with the final product.
Yeah, because ultimately we want everything to be able to fit like normal, so that they all look the same when we drop them in here.
So I thought it just like for me mock up what it might look like. Just
yeah, the same.
You can change honestly.
I do appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
It's not quite in line with what I think we should do art direction.
No, sure, totally
but
understand. I was just trying to see a fit into the position.
yeah, it's pretty much, this is pretty much it. We are going to have these little like different kinds of cup selections because we're going to have different kinds of like cup options. Like there's going to be to-go options for hot and cold drinks, and then there's going to be for here options for hot and cold drinks, and those are going to be a couple variables for different things that like little people are going to ask for when they show up in your little window.
The characters are based on the one from Maniac Mansion.
What's that?
They're based on Maniac Mansion, the old LucasArts.
Oh yeah.
Me and Quinn actually spent a long time talking about the character thing, and we thought that in the end it might be better to do something a little more anonymous looking. Like,
yeah.
I think so too.
Because
you're going to see the same characters over and over, so we think it might be better to just pick somebody that's more of like a symbol. So just draw like a blue outline of a human, and then just do like a couple variations on the blue humans.
You'd have to do tons of humans for there to be enough variation, but on top of that, like, it almost, like, I kind of am looking at the character, like, I mean, this is what we were talking about before I saw the image, but now that I see, like, a specific human standing there, I'm like, is this one a douchebag? Like, I don't, like, I don't want it to be about, like, predicting assholes.
Like, does this one look...
So just like
based on their physical appearance.
Icon, like
I think you did a good job, and thank you again for like taking the initiative to like put together a little like example thing.
Like, doing the menu for 0 weight, but I love doing pixel art. I didn't exactly know also what you guys wanted, the direction and everything. I tried to do like pastelish things, but it's just a mock-up, really. But yeah, no, I totally feel on that. I think Papers, Please obviously made an amazing job at just outlining human characters and like doing something extremely simple and having this wide range of...
Even that though, like I was talking to Rodrigo about that. Apparently, like Papers, Please guy made like thousands of sprites, even just for those ones, and you still see them over and over again. So we want to have something like very symbolic, so you don't mind seeing it.
That might be cool for like a future version of it. If
yeah,
you could find
nice
a way
to expand it.
To do it, that could work for the feel of the game. But it just seems like that alone, like creating all those people, would take so much
Yeah, so it would be
time.
just blobby shapes, because what's in common is making coffee and getting sexually assaulted, right?
Yes, these are the points of the
harassed.
game. Yeah, assault is different from harassment. Yeah. Okay. So is the pipeline for making just these little these little menu elements clear? You're just gonna open the file on the G Drive and just draw on top of it at 200 by 200. That's clear to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is there a color palette for that?
We don't have a color palette, but we do have a style guide.
Mm-hmm.
So we will look at that and kind of like
We'll
the
talk
nice
about
thi-
color when we're looking at it.
Yeah.
There's a little.
The nice thing about Photoshop is we can always tweak the colors too. So if they're not quite right, we can always go back in.
Yeah.
So
So
there's
Photoshop
that.
is going to be used to assemble the whole thing.
I'll be using Photoshop really heavily.
It's totally optional.
Yeah, it's up to you. If you want to use some other pixeling program, as long as
Yeah.
it looks consistent and I get a PNG,
No, I mean,
don't care.
there's nothing wrong about it because I think it's totally fine. Ace Prides, as Alex talked about
Yes.
it extensively,
Yes.
is quite amazing. But the great thing is that you can export. You can just open something you made in Photoshop, make something in Ace Pride in 200 by 200, and export that. And it's just PNG.
The thing is that we're not really animating or anything, so there's not really a lot of benefit, I think, for us to use something that's like a pixel-specific program.
But if it works better for your workflow,
It's
then please
to
use
be
it.
honest, like drawing pixel art with a pixel art dedicated software is way more comfortable than
You
using
think so?
Photoshop. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, obviously you can animate directly in that, which is a plus.
Well, again, you can do whatever is comfortable for you, as long as again it's consistent with the art style and it like at least looks consistent with the
And it can
resolution that we're
always
going
be
for. We're
brought
good.
into Photoshop.
Even PNG.
Yeah, give me PNG. If it looks right, we're good.
Basically, the thing is, there is no reason for us all to use the same program. So it's just whatever you want, as long as you follow the rules. That's actually the first sentence in the style
And
guide,
it-
since people keep bringing up.
Ajun wanted to do stuff as well, so we should mention that. It's
Oh, yeah.
following the
Okay,
the
great.
feed.
I don't
Hey
have
June,
a Twitch
you can
feed
do
anymore.
like whatever program you want, just as long as it looks right. We're good. Yeah.
Yep.
Just pixels.
Yeah, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the templates thing, because that's going to be like one of the complicated parts. But I think once we get it set up, it's going to make everything a lot faster. Do we have the template thing?
Yeah. Can I just bring up? Can
Yeah,
you
I'm
actually log onto your G Drive?
The G Drive thing is open, I think.
No, I mean yours. I can log onto mine.
My particular. Okay, yeah, just
Let me do that. I just didn't want everyone to see all of my secrets.
It doesn't matter. I think a name would actually be distracting. It's intended to be like a generic coffee chain. Sure.
Why use your computer?
Yeah, I mean like that's.
I don't have my crazy mouse plugged in.
I think by keeping it vague, it's a little more personal.
No, that's
That's also why I didn't really like. I don't know. Trevor brought up like having a logo. That's also why I didn't want a logo.
we all know it's Starbucks.
It doesn't need to be.
Does me. I've got to head out in a couple minutes. Was there anything else you wanted to talk to me about with the music?
No, not really.
What's Maven Metal?
You got the gist of the music, right? You got the music?
Yeah, the
Animal Crossing thing.
But
Yeah.
should be open music?
Yes.
No.
Like really cute.
I think that would go with the visual look of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
game.
I know. I mean, there's pixel art games that are extremely minimalist
Do you
that use
have any
symphony.
insight?
Yeah, it's something I've been
You
working
could,
on
you
recently
could.
with
I think it was
Flanders
something that
is
she
a-
was
is a
particular
hybridized
to.
8-bit style where all the lead tracks are 8-bit, but there's more modern instruments
That's fine.
kind of underneath. Okay.
I'm gonna leave it to your discretion because
yes.
I don't profess to be an expert in that.
So, but yeah, I think that'll sound the best because it's
Okay,
it's
I can
one
do
of
this.
when
I can
when
use a
you-
computer.
when you do, like really true to life chiptune. It
Sounds
sounds cool, like and not in a good way most of the time.
Shit.
That's alright.
What is my password?
I mean, it depends. It depends on what you're
So,
doing. Like
really,
like
NES.
Everyone doing modern chip stuff is doing stuff that wasn't happening back in wasn't happening back in the day.
Right.
And
So
a
Shovel
lot of-
Knight on the coffee shop.
Yeah. So generally, I rely on kind of both. The, and I think that having some real instruments will take this from a really long way. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it to your discretion.
I have like auto sign in at home and I just changed my password recently. I don't remember what it is. I'm sorry.
So did you just put it in my Dropbox then?
I shared it with you on G Drive.
I guess I just didn't see it. Okay.
See y'all later.
Oh,
Thank you. Have a good day.
See you all.
I'm sorry, Flynn.
No, it's fine.
I am obsessed with security to a point that leads me to not be able to use any of the services I need access to. Did Rodrigo leave?
Then he walked out for something
Because he was angry.
I'm sorry,
Just
Rodrigo.
It should be called, just search Coffee Cutie.
I'm
Wait,
having
is this
trouble-
your school address?
No. You shared it with my school?
Wait,
Yes, I did.
so the wall game should be cute?
Okay.
No, I can't work.
No.
With the
cute game. Oh,
Of course. Although
That's for
it's true, it's not gonna be
girls.
super easy.
Yeah, what are we doing making a game for girls, guys?
I think that
I love it.
the background in terms of the color and the level of detail just needs to sort of be a little closer to the objects that we're going to be putting in there.
Yeah, just like, yeah, there's examples.
Because I think
in
yours looks really good standalone, but it's not necessarily what we were going for.
Share it with me.
The mock-up.
Oh, the mock-up. the mock-up.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
it
no,
is.
that's the game
This
I would
is
have
it,
made
right?
myself. I'm also working on a complete different
That's it.
pixel game, so
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna let.
Okay. I'm not going to read this whole thing out loud, but I'm just. Is it possible to make this bigger?
You could probably go to a full screen mode or something under.
I know there's a preview mode. I can't.
Control plus.
You're a genius.
It works in any browser.
Shut up. Okay, I mean, I'm sorry, Nathan.
You're a genius. Shut up.
Okay, so this is a guide I put together. I'm gonna post it to the Trello soon. I just need to make a couple edits to it first. You can use any software you want, as long as you're comfortable with it and you stick to the style conventions. Very important. Okay, so about the scale and the resolution, Quinn already talked about what we're doing to keep that consistent. You're just going to be downloading the preview images for the UI elements, meaning all of the buttons you see to the right for making your coffee. But for the coffee cups and all of the different drinks that are going to be inside them, we're going to do something different, and I'll get to that in a second. But here I'm just talking about sort of like the level of like detail we're going for. We don't want everything to look super smooth. It should look pretty simple. But see here, you've still got enough detail to give you an indication of perspective, and it has good form, and it's not so simple that yeah.
If I may add, just that model is quite high resolution pixels. Like,
Do you think it's too high res? Do you think we should be
that
lower?
I mean, you say 200 by 200 pixels.
Yeah, it's still pretty high for.
It's still too high.
I mean, no, it's not too high. What I'm saying is that if everything should match that, it means that. It's just a matter of style. Like it's
Okay.
longer, obviously, to design. You know, just a bowl of milk. When you have this is not 200 by 200 pixels. I believe you have like twice that in just the model you were showing. It's just a matter of like the time you want to spend on it and the look you want to give. But yeah, it's quite high res. Keep going.
How would
I
it
don't
not be 200 by 200?
Well, the file, I know that the file I have is 200 by 200. The object itself.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what it was created with, was
Yeah, I'm having
exactly
trouble getting
200
it
by
to
200,
scroll.
and it's actually less than 200
Yeah,
by
the
200.
object itself is smaller, and that's true of all of the files.
I think maybe it just looks higher res because it has gradations of color.
I check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely not
It's not high
a
res.
larger resolution than that. In fact, it's smaller.
Right, but for example, NES games or stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
this is much higher than that.
Is that a
It's
problem?
more like-
Is implementing that going to be a problem? I'm asking that as a genuine question. I'm not trying to be sassy.
It's just an art direction question, really.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think what we're shooting for is this kind of in between place, where I don't want it to be so blocky and like so.
Okay.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Like
I guess what I was thinking of in terms of art direction and simple high res is this is sort of like a medium place compared to all the art we were looking at for examples. We found stuff that was much simpler, and we found stuff that was way like overly complex. And some of them were assets that were used in video games, so it does get a lot more complicated than this.
Like the markup, for example, was 220 pixels by 120, like the entirety of it, the entire scene. So if you have just one asset that is 200 by 200 pixels, you have a scene that
well,
is
here's the
like
thing. It's a plane that's 200 by 200,
Yeah.
but the object itself doesn't necessarily take up that whole scene. It's just like
Yeah,
no, but that's what I mean. That like the scene, if you have one icon object that is that is even like 90 pixels by 70 something, it would mean that the whole scene is a lot of pixels in the whole scene. That's just what
We
I'm-
calculated it, and the whole scene is
screen resolution?
the whole scene
Yeah.
scene is HD. So it's 1920.
Okay, no, that,
Yeah.
okay, great. That's okay. I like that. That's
Okay.
that's easy to.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah. Now it makes more sense.
On that note, we're making a game. Not everybody's going to have 1920 by 1080.
Yeah, but
are we going to
Unity
make
will
arrangements?
Unity will
But the
downscale.
pixel art won't.
There's way of doing that. If we use the new sprite system in Unity, it will work.
Well, do you guys feel like
I'm new to pixel art,
it would
so
work?
if it's a technical issue
Yeah.
that I'm just
No,
missing, I'm willing to.
No.
reconsider.
It should be. I mean, it should be right.
No, I mean I'm asking because I want opinions. Like, do you think it would be better to implement it with simpler pixel art?
I think it's good to base the whole scene, so the whole composition we're gonna see based upon like ratios that we all know about. Like 1020p or regular laptop is usually 1440 by 900. Am I right? Yeah, they're using like rasterize and downscale and everything. Unity should be fine.
Okay, I just don't want to create a problem down the line. If it's
Yeah,
something we can
yeah,
address
exactly.
right now.
Like I'm not trying to insist on this. This is just what we came up with, and it's totally like open to
If there's a
input.
better way, we want to do
A
it.
few
a better
years
way.
ago, if you wanted to have something pixel perfect in Unity, you had to do something that was always 2x2 because of graphic cards, because they were not able to calculate. Again, if I'm right,
But it works.
I guess the thing is that it's not going to be
No,
like
it's
true
messed
pixel
up.
art. It's
Okay.
just like an image that is pixel-like.
No, but now it should be fine, and it will look great. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have done pixel art before. Like you've obviously done a lot of pixel art in the past, and a lot of it, like stuff that Nathan does, is very, very simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that was something that was even really considered. Like we sort of just wanted the pixel art because it was reminiscent of a lot of like Japanese games and art that we were looking at.
Yeah, it all kind of goes back to that like cute factor.
No, that's.
I think we got a good aesthetic going.
Kawaii.
I think so long as
Yeah.
Unity is capable of handling the rescaling and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what I
it's
would be
possible.
worried about, though.
That would be my only concern.
Yeah.
So you can just like do 1920 by.
Well, Rodrigo, do you know anything about the rescaling issue?
No, but we have so high resolution screens today that it shouldn't be a problem. It was a problem when you made pixel art that was going to be really one pixel on the screen per pixel that you do. But today it's not, it doesn't really work like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should be okay.
Yeah, because the pixels are so small in the current screens that not before
Okay.
when you drew a pixel,
It was like one
Yeah,
dot on your
exactly.
screen.
Yeah, because like again, it's like not quite really pixel art. It's just sort of an impression of pixel
Yeah,
art.
no, that's
so
fine.
we just want to make sure that like they look consistent again. Like if it looks consistent, we're golden.
It's gonna be cute and it's gonna look great.
probably the background is going to be a lot more.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, it is.
we're worried about the background. That's fine. Cross
But it
that
only
bridge when we
needs
get
to be made once. Okay, so we'll figure out and test. No, what's happening?
Yeah, your laptop is what's going on?
I
with the clicker
hate
right now?
your laptop.
It's just pressure.
Here we go,
sensitive,
okay.
So like if you move it's done.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll look more into the resolution and the scaling thing and see if there might be some problems with that. This is other stuff that Quinn was bringing up. God, I hate this. Okay, so this is what she was showing before. You download these little images, you work over them to get the proper resolution.
Okay, for scrolling, yeah, you actually have to scroll it. You would actually have to click the physical button on the bottom. I think.
I'm not
It's nonsense.
I'm not going to do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the actual size of the code.
This is
It's really far off.
like an example of what a template might look like. So obviously you don't have like the other edge of this circle coming back here. This is just empty for you to fill it with whatever. What I sort of suggest here is that, I don't know if everybody has layers in whatever software you're working with, probably. You put it on like a layer above whatever you're painting in, and then you can also go back, edit the template a little bit, but just like use common sense and discretion. Like, you could sort of like mess with the colors a little bit to like sort of like reflect that there's a brown liquid in this by sort of editing the color of this edge here.
Yeah.
But just try not to mess with the actual size of it too much, because that'll end up really strange.
Yeah. So definitely we'll be able to like knock out a lot of things really quickly. Like we'll be able to use that template and make it like one that's a neutral color, halfway full of a liquid, and then we can just change that liquid color to reflect like changes, like additions to that liquid.
Yeah, I sort of like went over like this is like I mean there's a like I think this looks just fine, but it's just not what we're going for. Like no really harsh outlines or like flat colors. Like this has a little bit of an indication of a gradient on here, and we don't want it to look like a painting, but
So you want flat.
huh?
You want flat without outlines.
No, I said not flat.
Oh.
Like
But
You
if
want
you-
form.
yeah, like with yes, like
why is it?
this is things not to do right here.
Those are no's. We will get to the yeses in a moment.
So I'm saying, yeah, so like here, for instance, with this ice cream, it could almost be like you just bucket filled the colors.
Too soft, right?
Yeah, like it looks like if you took away the outlines, you would not be able to tell what it is. So I included this little example of these butts, which I
Yeah,
didn't.
those are a good example because they don't have very they don't have any outlines at all, but they're good.
Yeah, like that would be good. You can see light affecting it exactly.
Okay.
So
I got it.
I just put here, make sure to
It's
use
spheres.
light to describe form and material. If it's glass, it's obviously going to have some
those are good.
reflections. If it's a matte material, it's going to absorb light. So, I mean, don't make it super complicated, like you're making a Da Vinci painting with pixel art.
I like this really weird little like.
I know, right? It's really fantastic.
This is kind of the most bizarre
I
example you could possibly pick.
there's this digital painting tutorial that's been like handed around on the internet since the internet, and this is like one of the images from it, and I always like go back and look at it every once in a while, and I really like. There's also an example of like different types of material and how they reflect light, and it's like just breasts.
This is one shiny butt.
Yeah, this is it's a man bending over with no head and his butt, but and that's not the point.
No Ash Queen as well. Okay.
Yeah. So what Quinn and I were sort of doing was gradating color by changing the color. For instance, you have a purple and sort of a lighter violet color, and then a color in between here, and this is kind of interspersing the two to make a gradient. I think a little bit of that is fine, but for the most part, I think this just looks a little too harsh. It's definitely a specific style.
And that could work if we were doing a whole game that looked like that, but again, it's got that
Yeah.
harsh.
That's just
It's
the thing.
just too harsh.
I don't have anything against that. It's just if only some of the objects have that, then it will stick out. And that's the only problem with it. And that goes for a lot of this stuff. It's not that I think that's ugly or whatever. It's just it all needs to look similar. No.
Right. Oh, so this is hard to actually tell the difference on the
Oh, no, actually, I think it's fairly illustrative.
It's anyway. Even some of the images we had posted before looked pretty soft, and we definitely want stuff to look feminine and cute. But just remember, all of these images are going to be on top of backgrounds, and they need to be distinctive from the background. So we can't have things look super soft or so transparent that they're fading into nothingness.
Pastel.
Yeah, like
So
pastels
is
are
fine,
nice.
but just make sure that it's got enough contrast that it's
Enough
clear
colors.
and that
Yeah,
it's gonna be bright
like
enough
here,
it's gonna show up.
it's a little more saturated. It doesn't look electric. It doesn't look great on the screen either. But we should have, like for the glass here, it would be really bad to have a very dark line because it's supposed to be a transparent material, but it's dark enough that I can tell it's there.
Yeah. So I guess that's a secondary note. Is you should have an outline on items. It just needs to be appropriate to the item. Like no black.
No,
probably.
white outline would be fine depending on the background.
I'm gonna try to pick backgrounds that are pretty neutral, especially on things like the little like right side icon grid.
I think
It'll be
it
something
would-
that's pretty much like a middle tone. So you should be able to pick something that's lighter than a middle tone.
Well,
It'll be
if
fine.
you look at the template here, it's not actually transparent, like there are missing pixels in the white areas, except in the middle where you want to put the liquid. It's actually white, for instance, painted into these areas between like the reflective areas. So that's going to look sort of
It'll pop.
white. Otherwise, I think it would look strange in the background.
Yeah, we can always tweak things to make sure.
Yeah,
that they pop.
we can see how it works, but I think it'd be better to work backwards, make the objects first, and then find a background color that works with it.
Yeah. So pretty much plan for that. So make sure that your objects look nice by themselves, and then we'll find a way to make sure that they look good. Together compacted.
This right here, this is not an example of how you should make it look. I'm not asking you to like work this complex. And obviously always start simple and then like work up from there.
It's great.
Huh?
Right. I love it.
Let's go for clarity.
Oh, yeah.
Nice game.
I know there's.
Don't defend yourself. It's good.
Okay,
Yeah, keep
great.
going.
Thanks.
We love it.
Okay, for the perspective, everything should be drawn with a slight bird's eye view, so we see a little bit of the top of the objects. If it has corners, such as the milk carton, turn it to a 3/4 view to show us two sides at once, otherwise it'll become flat.
Dimension is really the thing to keep in mind.
This we're getting rid of this. Don't worry about this. Don't look at this. This is not here.
Yeah, pretty much just 200 by 200. Give me the file that you were drawn on, and we'll size it as we need to at the end. Sure.
All right, that's everything. I'm so sorry. No.
Oh no, you bumped my toe very
I thought I
gently.
ran over
oh
your
god.
foot.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So we kind of wanted to talk to them about the problem that we were trying.
Yeah, about the making drinks out of order thing?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
I wanted to ask you to see if you think of a solution because I haven't. So, when you thought of giving you the instructions to make a drink in a certain order, and after you do that, after you do each step, the spread of the drink changes. But what will happen if you mess up?
Like, what if you do it out of order?
Well, that can depend on exactly what your mistake was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like the best solution would be to have different sprites for different messed up drinks.
So that's the thing, is that makes like a million more sprites for us.
That's a good point.
Which is okay, like we can deal with it, and that's part of why we've got this like modular system, is so that
Maybe we
can
could
make
just do a
things
color
faster.
swap.
I was gonna say, would it be
That's the thing,
doable?
is it would just be color swaps.
Would it
It's
be
just that we've got to
doable
figure
like,
out
put a
what all of
transparent
those
layer above?
possible, yeah, it's those like, yeah, not quite
partially
transparent
transparent?
layer, but it basically just be recoloring the same asset and saving it as different sprites for different fail conditions, or whatever, fail option, if you do it out of order, that's a fail. Yeah, so I mean, it's doable. It just means that we have to go through and like think about what all those different out of order options are. So it creates.
Yeah, that becomes an exponential problem at that point.
That's the thing, is it is exponential.
Yeah,
But Rodrigo's point is that it is like probably important to have, because it's like so many ways for the player to fail that are really
Right.
important.
Maybe you could even have like some sort of transparency thing going on, to where you could add layers for each ingredient.
That's what we're already basically doing.
Yeah, and then
Listen.
because it's like if you do things in a drink out of order, it depends on like what.
It looks different because it's filling up a glass, right?
Right. It does look different, but depending on what the order mistake is, it wouldn't really change the final drink that much.
Exactly.
So
maybe you
it means
can
that we
have
get to reuse
specific-
some assets.
Yeah, I was
Right.
thinking about that as well.
Right. You might think about specific cases where the order matters and specific cases where it doesn't. Like you need to add coffee, milk, and sugar, but then you need to have the whipped cream on top. If you have to add the whipped cream earlier, then it's like maybe you have like.
Now it looks stupid.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then it would be like it would be too light. Of a
Well,
drink.
we're not going to have any whipped cream.
But we do have, like,
Alternatively,
foam
we could
and
make
stuff
it so it always turns out right if you put the right things in it, which sort of doesn't make sense.
Right,
But
but how does it do it? What do you do?
yeah, I
It's-
guess,
It's just that there's got to be. If we make it impossible to fail, then it's like, what's the point of playing?
Right.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and for some things are obvious, like if you
So.
add the milk before the cup, you know.
Yeah, that's great.
So I think for stuff like that, we could just make like one little like puddle sprite and then like recolor the puddle sprite.
Yeah.
And, like,
That would actually be really funny.
Yeah,
like
wouldn't it?
you're like, okay, I got this.
Oh.
So what's going to be animated?
Pretty much nothing.
Just
Yeah,
sparkles.
Yeah, we've got
things are
some-
just going to appear as you press, because it would be so much animation that it would become very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I think if we like decided to expand it later, we could add more animation. But as it is, it's just going to pretty much be like swapping out a sprite.
What were you saying?
For every liquid ingredient you have a specific color for that liquid ingredient, and you make all the different levels in the cup that that ingredient could have, and then you just change the color for the ingredient. So depending on how far you are through making the drink, you just add that size and make it go
That's pretty
up.
much the system that we have.
That's what we're gonna have to do.
And in that case,
It won't be
it's-
that
then
Yeah.
you're just combining layers and transparency.
Yeah, it's just really a matter of like plotting out what new ones we need.
Right.
That was the
and
pain
in
in the
that
butt.
case, it's not exponential because it's just the components.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what if we have like 3 layers to play with, and then we
Okay.
have up to 3.
I think that should be the limit.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Yeah.
Like, if you press milk 3 times, that would fill
Okay, that
And
makes
you
sense.
wouldn't necessarily have to increase the visible level every time you add an ingredient. If there's like one with like 6 ingredients on it, so you
I
don't
think we
want to
should
have 6
mix
different
multiple
gradations
shots.
that have a lot of different
Yeah,
sizes.
I think so
It could just change the color.
Right. But if you have milk, and you
Yeah,
add-
there's a couple options that do just change the color right now. Like,
I mean,
so
why
we just-
why not have them all just kind of change the color for just like for now, if nothing else? Like, so that if you put in coffee, it's just like coffee. Then you can add cream. It doesn't change the level of the drink necessarily. It just changes the color of the drink. So it looks like cream. Right, but it's a lot easier to work on, and I don't know that anybody's going to really like ask that question as to why. Why
But if
isn't
you
it?
pull espresso, it doesn't fill the cup, Nathan.
Well, yeah, but still.
I'm going to quit on this one.
I think it's really important.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel strongly about it.
You guys are doing the work. It's not me. No, all right.
Ditto, like same for like if you put like a pump of syrup in something, it's not going to fill the cup. That'd be stupid.
Yeah, I'm totally for suggestions on how to simplify anything as we go along, but there are still going to be some things that I feel like are really important to making it feel
Like
right
suspension
and
of
fun.
disbelief is still important.
Yeah, like
A little bit.
I don't want it to be like I'm making coffee out of Play-Doh and it's like I really have to use my imagination.
Pretend.
Yeah.
No, but I like the idea of making it really modular. I think we can think of a system. Like,
That's
for
going to be
example-
even more accommodating.
Yeah, like for example, if we add one like espresso, like fill just the bottom. But if we already have milk,
It just changes the color.
Exactly.
But that, again, that's the system that we kind of already
You
have.
like insignificantly sized ingredients like syrups and like the single shots of espresso and stuff like that that wouldn't even change the level at all
Yeah.
and just change the color.
Again, that's the system that we're kind of currently planning on.
Right, but
Where-
we're thinking that maybe we could do that in the programming.
Where it's
give
just-
us the, like, yeah, you wouldn't have to make every step into an actual image. Maybe there's a way.
Just like code a slight color change to
Yeah.
this, right?
Is there a way to do that without changing? I don't know because it.
If you separate the sprite, sounds like you have the cup as one sprite, and you maybe do the liquid underneath it.
Yeah,
You could have
you can
you
tint
could have that set up.
in
that
Unity,
way.
tint the sprites, but
Well, that's the thing is I just don't want it to color like the cup too. So I guess it's just a matter of keeping the liquid separate from the cup and just
Yeah.
having the cup as a background. Okay.
Well, I mean, maybe the
Just like
liquid
spread
would be white, and in Unity would be tinted because you can, if you make a white sprite in Unity, you can tint it for like any color possible. obviously.
Would that be the simplest way? Is that the simplest thing that we could do?
You could just do a white liquid sprite,
And we
then
could do
in
one
Unity
that's
you
like-
tint it in Unity, so you can actually use a layer to change the, to gradients.
So we could have like a tenth, a fifth,
Templates.
a half, and then a full cup, and then we could just like do things to that, and then add the PNG add-ons for the like the miscellaneous things.
Totally possible. And
Okay.
You can like have a palette in the Unity editor for people who aren't programmers to go in and change those colors.
Yeah.
That would be good. If somebody could teach me that, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be better rather than doing all the color work in Photoshop and bring them into Unity.
Okay.
Like do tons of colors outside Unity, because you can actually trick colors of sprites really easily by code
Okay.
now in Unity.
Okay, so we'll just do the liquid as a separate thing and tint it in Unity.
Maybe, yeah.
That's the simplest way? Okay.
I mean, obviously it's better to do templates and see how it looks like with the right color, and
Yeah.
then we do the final one in white and bring them to Unity and we match the colors.
Okay. That's fine. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that solves that problem. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Anything else?
Yeah, I don't know. Are there any other questions? Are there any other like pressing problems, things that are not clear?
Who's here?
That is working on it.
Teo.
Because you're working on it. You're working on it.
I'm gonna try to work as much as possible.
Do you feel like it would be too time consuming for you to work at this resolution?
No, I think it's not. I mean, yes, it's much more time. That's the thing with pixel art, and that's why you have Sword and Sorcery, and you have I don't know, like King of Fighters, stuff like this. But it's doable. I think that's the limit. To what you have. I really like the design and the style and everything. I think that's going to be a really cute and really nice looking game. But yeah, it's a little more time. It doesn't mean that it's not feasible, doable at all.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm worried about though, is if it would make the production.
We'll see.
I think the UI is going to be relatively simple for it. I think the main question is going to be the palette swapping within a liquid. So if we can manage that.
We will realize if it's way too much work, like soon, early enough.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple things in here that can just sort of be duped and color swapped, like these little like syrup bottles.
Mm-hmm.
You can just make one and then color swap it. I'm gonna do the rest of these like milk cartons and color swap them.
What we need is I think the world framing, the world positioning, and start like puzzling and putting stuff in place.
Yeah.
And as we will put stuff in place, we'll probably realize what
what issues are.
works.
The only thing I was thinking is if we are going to do a resolution change, then it would need to be
We need to do it
now.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of why it's like
No, of course,
a little
I
bit of one of those
understand.
issues that we should resolve sooner
All
rather
right.
than later.
Do you have enough to? No, I do. Okay, maybe Quinn and I are going to talk about it for not a time that takes up too much of our time, and then we'll put it on the internet soon.
Yes.
All right.
Internet.
The internet.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Any other points for now on this then?
I think that's it.
Wilder has a question.
Wilder has a question? Has the game ended?
Oh, that's the best part!
Yep.
Have you guys played Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how at the end you get like a paycheck and it's
You
really
spoiled
shitty?
everything. Dev.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
So that's it's like a bad paycheck.
It's gonna be like a bad paycheck at the
Awesome.
end.
So yeah, I can show you. I did like a really stupid mock-up for
You're not getting money in order to
You are.
sustain your family and
for your rent.
It's sort of like a mix between that and Papers, Please. Like you have to make a certain amount of money to make rent.
loading?
And so you're shown your shitty paycheck at the end of the game, and if you didn't make enough, then there's a little speech bubble that comes up that says something like, "I guess I can't pay rent," and that's it, and that's just the end.
Because ideally, we're gonna have 3 rounds of the game. You're gonna have to make 450 by the end of all 3 rounds. And I mean, if you can do it, then you pay your rent. If you can't do it, the rent doesn't get
What
paid.
does it imply? Just not paying the rent? So she's gonna go on the streets?
So the money's basically.
I mean, she dies.
She'll move in with one of the guys
She's on the
who's hitting her,
streets.
right?
It's supposed to be kind of funny, but
She's on the
I think
sidewalk.
it would be a very visual
Funny
humor,
woman that
guys.
promotes. It's hilarious.
No,
I laugh every time.
It's really funny.
I mean, you know how it's funny in Five Nights at Freddy's? Like, it's gonna be some like shitty amount. Like you went through all this bull crap to make like
Like in real
$80 or
life.
something.
Mhm.
Like real
Like
life.
in real life.
Yeah, like after taxes.
But like, does the way you play the game impact you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
It's like your high score.
Yeah.
Yeah, the faster you move, the more money you make, but also your ability to deal with the obstructions, like the catcalling and stuff.
Yeah, because those are gonna impede the menu. So it means that you'll have to work around them.
So if you make mistakes and you work slow and you can't work around that stuff, then you make less money.
Yeah, and the customers and stuff are going to be generated randomly, so technically there won't be an upper limit on the number of customers that you can get through. So if you're really fast and you're like really good at it, technically you can make a lot of money. Probably. I don't know.
Yes.
Break the art. Do it.
That's pretty limited. That's a different plot.
That's a totally different game where you're getting sexually harassed at work and you do such a great job that your boss pays you $1 million.
Take a dude little tap on your shoulder, and that's the end of the game. Is that
The end of the game, it says you beat sexism.
Yay!
Yeah.
We can be done.
Okay, so I guess that's it.
Yeah, yeah. Unless there are again any other questions. We good? All good. All there. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Great job. Etc.
Get out of here.
So yeah, I guess I'll mention Lux briefly, and then we'll get the hell out of here. So as I mentioned in the, I guess that was just last meeting or whatever. This is going to be kind of a side project. So I've got some work that needs to get done on here, obviously, but it's not so much that we need to devote like a whole chunk of us to this. But I do definitely need someone to help out with programming, and I need things. Whoever wants to manage, you're more than welcome to. Bruce can jump in. I don't care. Whatever. That's the thing. So I've got this kind of split up. I've got programming, game design, and art assets that need to get done.
Can you show the characters?
Yeah.
There's a board for it.
Yeah, there's a board for it. So the characters are basically, I need concepts of sprite work. These are characters that are going to actually be in the. I have a single player version of this going that I'm working on my personal
You've done the
side.
one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So, huh?
They're really nice.
Oh, thank you. But so like that's kind of the style that I'm going for. These are 6 of the characters that are for the single player mode. But for multiplayer, I don't freaking really care. There's like a world that's invented in it, and like I would want them to be coherent within that world, but basically that world is such that you can basically go anywhere you want to within sci-fi and fantasy and you'll be okay. We can talk.
That's the Mage Ball. Yeah.
This is Mage Ball.
So this
yes.
character will be in 3D, right? Okay.
Yeah. So that's the rig. The rig is generic. I can pull up, I think. Unity projects. Platform, I think. Is that still the name of this thing? Wow, I need to change that. The organization here is a nightmare. Don't. There's just another player. Materials. Yeah. So this is the character. That it goes from this in the actual engine. This is the UV, and this is the wrapped texture. This is about like 1,000 times its normal size. It's actually like this. Yeah, this is the actual size of the texture.
This is right.
Yeah, very very tiny, very very simple. This takes like 5 seconds to do.
Yeah, you can set textures.
Right. So like honestly, we can have as many characters as you want, so long as there's not any accessories, like in terms of just whatever it is they're wearing. So like the hats here, I would have to remodel, but like this guy at the top left, he would just be a color swap. So he's nice and simple. She needs sleeves right here and the dress. This guy needs this little like tuft down here at the bottom. You know, there's some accessories depending on the design that you make, but for the most part, it's just palette swaps. Very simple, very easy. Even within the stuff that has to be added on, it's still very simple, very easy to manage. So you can pretty much just do whatever you want within the character design. Talk to me if you want to do some characters. We can discuss what the world is. I'll try to get a little bit of a description on here as well to get at least some basics as to how that's going to work. So I need characters, just generic characters, nothing specific. I need environments. Similar situation. They're very simplistic. It's 16 by 16 textures. They're very small, simple, easy to make. But right now, all I've got is these 2, which are basically the interior of a dungeon/cave area, and I need stuff for like outdoor, like forest, trees, parks, stuff like that. The game Mage Ball itself is going to take place in just kind of like an urban sort of setting, so that you don't have to. It's just like basically people playing soccer out in the field. It's the world is such that everybody can now use magic and shit, so you're shooting fireballs at people. So imagine a bunch of dudes in a park that could shoot fireballs at each other, and that's basically what this game is about.
That makes Sucker so much interesting right now.
So, yeah.
Actually getting hurt in the uterus.
I would think that you would be like nice enough to not kill your friends.
Yeah, but pain is involved in the sport, though.
I mean, I would think like football. You're tackling people. I would think you're shooting whatever it is you're shooting with enough force to knock somebody out if you do it the wrong way. Stuff like that. But it's just a recreational sport is basically the idea. 16 by 16. I can post some example textures as well, which I should have already done, but shame on me, I haven't. So yeah, oh, hell, I might actually have something open here. Excuse my work in progress here. Source images. There's one. So that's the door. Oh, wrong button. So that door that's right there, this is a slightly different color palette. I didn't open the right one. But either way, that's the door. So it's just, this one's 32 by 16 just because it's tall. But all the textures on everything else is just 16 by 16, very simple. So long as the color palette's coherent within each other, or within themselves, it's pretty much okay. It's fairly desaturated. I can kind of discuss that as well, but it's relatively desaturated colors. It's pretty much the only requirement. Yeah, stick with this visual style, and I just need some environment stuff, basically. Modeling is all just simple squares. It's every one of these models is literally just a cube that's just kind of extruded. Different differences to shapes, like within the little pots and stuff here. There's a slight bevel, just at a 45-degree angle, but it's all just kind of working off of the grid. It's very simplistic. Yeah, so that's what I need art-wise. For a game design, I need levels. So if anybody wants to make levels, even if you've never made a level before in your life, you're more than welcome to just pitch a level, and we can kind of discuss whether it'll work and why or how or whatever. Other than that, I need spells. I have a crap ton right here, and I have my thoughts on the methodology for going through and making them. But yeah, so we need to discuss programming-wise what the spells are going to be, like what we want to work with there. And yeah, just kind of game design-wise, like what their function is and how they work and all that sort of stuff. It's a good list. I went through and made a good solid chunk.
And then a bunch of extraneous ideas too.
Right. So, like I kind of explained at the top, I want it to be sort of like a first-person shooter in a way, so that each spell that you get has a very specific function. And that specific function is not like any other spell. So most games, you just get Fireball, and about 100 different variations of Fireball. They do different things, they like shoot out in different ways or whatever, but it's basically just Fireball, game mechanic-wise. It's just different Fireball. I don't want to do that. So one Fireball, one ranged damage spell, that's it. No more. No more ranged damage single-shot spells. No lightning bolts, no whatever. That's it. Just one Fireball. Everything else is very mechanically different in some way, shape, or form. And so, like I said, I have a bunch of examples here. You can kind of take a look through. And yeah. Code-wise, review the old stuff. I have it on Google Drive right here. So you're welcome to take a look at it. It's kind of Frankencode because I've been Googling. But it shouldn't be so terrible that it's completely incomprehensible. The organization of the files is pretty rough right now because it hasn't been something that I've tried to organize at all. So that I definitely apologize for in advance. But the code itself should be at least coherent. I've tried to split everything up so that like the grab script is on its own and it's just itself. The swing sword is just, it's on the sword and it's just a script to swing. The jump and stuff like that, basic character controller is all kind of in one place. Health is isolated from that, stuff like that. So it should be relatively compartmentalized, so it should be at least easy to see what's what. I don't know what I'm doing with programming, so I don't know what kind of metric to judge myself by. So yeah, I apologize.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And then new stuff, the things that I need specifically. The levels, I want it to be sort of a sports, just a bunch of people goofing off, like playing around in the park kind of situation, but also in the way that like these would be like a soccer field. So these places have things set around them for the purpose of, playing the game. So like I have specifically listed here pressure traps, as in not necessarily like this is going to kill you, but things that when you touch them, like when you step on them, something will happen. So like I need some kind of methodology for if you step on something will happen. Maybe a spring launches out and shoots you off in the distance, or spikes come up and kill you. I don't know, whatever. But some kind of methodology for pressure sensitive areas. The ball itself is terrible right now. The grab script works like crap. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. So that one needs to be completely redone. I'm fairly certain.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything for mana right now, so I need like a mana system. I also need the spell book itself. I have the spells are right now isolated on prefabs. So like when you press the button, it generates the prefab, and the prefab is whatever it does. So like the blink spell, just on a prefab. The fireball is a prefab. Whatever it is, it's all prefabs. Instantiate the prefab, and then exactly. So I have that set up for now. That's what it is, but I don't have a spell book. So I don't have any ability to like click and drag and decide on what spells I have available. I need that.
How do you envision the spell system working? So like you set up your spells before the match and then you have them?
Yeah. So the idea is that you basically build your character like you would build a Magic deck, and then you go into the game and you have to figure out whether or not that works. And it's just four options. So you have like basically, I want them to be interchangeable, but you have like you have like spells, just normal spells like you would cast and stuff. You have melee weapons, which is exactly what it sounds like, just like a sword or an axe or whatever the hell. And you have like a passive ability. So just things that are on you, like maybe make you run faster, have more health or something like that. So, fairly simple stuff. You'll have 4 options and you can intermix them however you feel like, basically. Each of the 4 will be mapped to a specific button on the controls. So like the 2 shoulder buttons, one of the face buttons is right now denoted for melee, and I don't have the another button because I intended it to be just passive. So I'm not sure if we want to keep that locked, that one of them has to be passive or what. We can discuss.
Maybe that would be a fun thing to sort of have customizability in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Have more passives, but then you don't have as many active.
Right.
Or no passive at all, but then you have 3 spells or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So that's something that we're going to have to discuss for that. I want customization to be a thing. So like I don't want to restrict people to 2 spells, 1 passive, 1 melee necessarily. But if it has to be that way for game design purposes, then or for balance purposes or whatever, that's okay. Just so long as there's customization within those things. So like you can choose whatever melee you want, you can choose whatever spells you want, that sort of stuff. So yeah.
So you can kill players. The point of the game is just to get the ball to the
Basically. Have you seen it? Did you play it? Okay. Then yeah, I won't bother dealing with that. But yeah, so you have like it's just going to be an arena match, whatever. You can kill the other players however you want, but the goal is that's not the goal. Basically, it's like you have a ball there. You can arrange yourself a totally passive build so that you're never attacking anyone. You're just screwing around with the match. You're like switching locations with people, or just teleporting through walls, or whatever, making wall. I don't care. But like you're just kind of screwing around with things. So long as you can get the ball to the goal, that's the idea. So it's just going to be a soccer match, effectively. Level designs, on that note, should be soccer field shaped. You can do whatever you want within that. You can have like teleports and you like teleport to the moon. I don't care. But the match itself takes place on a soccer field.
Your first level was very arena-like, like
Mm-hmm.
the level.
That's what we want to go for this.
So you want to have the same types of things in all your other levels, where you have like walls and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
It looks like you're almost doing something very different there with like the objects that you've created in the
environments thing?
Yeah.
That's because what I've got here is what I'm working on for the single player mode. And that will not be arena based. That will not be anything remotely related. In fact, the mage ball thing, the arena combat fun part of this that I'm talking about, would take place like hundreds of years after the story would take place, if that makes sense. No, I know that I've ever mentioned. I'm gonna say this now. This game is ridiculously deep in terms of writing. I have so many design documents. I just have like 20 pages of design documents, so I apologize in advance if I don't say something that's very important and obvious to me, but I've never mentioned before, and no one has any reason why they should know it.
Well,
So.
go ahead and say that it's a great job, like focusing on a smaller deliverable thing for this multiplayer thing before you like jump on your ambitious like.
Yeah, it's like this game, I can tell you who the political factions are, who's in power, who's not in power, when they got in power, where they got in power, why they got in power, and how they got in power.
Are there romantic relationships?
No.
Well, that's a problem.
But in the Game of
Yeah.
Thrones, you either win or die.
No, it's romance is totally irrelevant to this.
People who play this game, you gotta have romance. How are they supposed to write fan fiction about characters?
The second story that I have written actually does involves friendship. Involves like the relationship of
There has to be,
friendship.
like a long gaze or something.
For a Kickstarter, that's what you put. It's
I
gonna
hate
be
all of you.
sexual.
I hate all of you.
Or like one character falls on top of another and then they like blush and they're looking at each other.
You realize these sprites, right? These little tiny like block people.
That's right.
It could be just like it'll be great.
Oh my god. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do whenever I do the single player is to put a sprite on the side that looks like Jessica, and she's going to just fall over on someone.
In slow-mo, yeah.
Yes. And she'll be the only character with giant boobs. Just like flopping. They'll have their own bone structure so that they can like flop independently from each other.
But they would be square, right?
Yeah, they'll be square, but they'll be like jiggling as she goes along. So like individually.
You told me there was a character with giant boobs already in the game.
Pendulous breasts, yes.
Always for jiggling boobs. Yeah, no, that's...
No, it's the character on the bottom middle of the
I think you should keep the models
spreadsheet right there.
basically the same, like flat planes, but add breasts that
Flop. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do for your
but they
character.
need to be like way bigger than the actual character.
Yeah, they're going to be full resolution too, so they're going to have like actual like rounded shapes, and you're going to see each nipple, and they're going to be like bouncing independently. They're going to get full, like perfect physics.
Nathan, you are
Yes,
still
it's
on Twitch.
breast of the game. I know. I know I'm still on Twitch. All the world can hear me talk about these jiggling boobs. I don't care.
As long as it's not me.
No, but seriously. So, I guess I should just ask, any questions about this? There's a lot in my head, and I don't know how much I've conveyed.
Is it okay for me to just rewrite your scripts in C# rather than
God, yes. Do whatever you want.
Okay.
I am not partial to the code.
Okay.
I don't care.
You don't care if I just rewrite
You can nuke the whole game for all I care. Yes. I don't want you to have to, because that seems like a lot of work, but you're more than welcome to do whatever you like.
I just don't do JavaScript, and I'm
That's fine.
been writing exclusively C#, so I'm just going to.
Yeah, like however you want to work with it is totally fine.
Why did you choose to write it in Java?
Because I was taught Java with Hilary Capone, and I was not taught C anything. That is the only reason.
Yeah, I'm also doing JavaScript. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of ideas for spells. Where can I send some?
I have a post right here for character spells. You're welcome to just comment on that. You can. We have a Slack channel, I believe. I don't know if it has Trello integration yet, actually, but.
I didn't set it up for this.
Oh wait, Spotify. Oh yeah, so there's.
How many of the spells are currently implemented?
Okay, so I have 4 spells implemented right now. I have Blink, so just teleport forward a few feet. I have Fireball. I have Summon Wall, and the 4th one is crap, and I don't want to use it. It was intended to be a homing missile. It homes only on the player that made it. So what I did was I turned it into the turtle shells from Mario Kart. Yeah, except they don't shoot forward. So yeah, so I have 4 spells, basically 3. Those are the only ones implemented, and yeah, they're very simple, obviously, because I don't know what to do.
A way in mind to keep it from homing on the player who shot it. So I can completely.
The bad thing is, I looked online and found the homing script that someone posted verbatim.
Yeah.
The entirety of that script was in place. I just copy-pasted, put it in place, and nothing.
Yeah.
It was functioning for everyone else on the thread that was talking about it in Unity.
I'll take a look at it.
But whatever. So, like I said, I'm not partial to the code by any stretch of the imagination, so just nuke it. I don't care. Yeah. Any other questions and such? Wait, you don't think you have access to something?
You need to join the board.
Oh, yes. On the top right?
So back out of there and go to the far right.
You'll have to expand the window. Yeah, there it is. So join. There you go. And now you can comment and whatever else. So yeah, toss in whatever ideas you want.
If you want to be notified of any changes to that card, you can join the card itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, if you want to suggest a spell that's like flaming cats pop out of the ground and you lunge at your opponent, that's fine. Like, I'm down for whatever ridiculousness you want. I'll talk as we're pitching ideas for spells back and forth about what's feasible, what's mechanically unique enough, etc. So like, throw out the craziest nonsense, batshit insane thing you can think of. Like, one of my core spells is the Fist of God comes down and crushes people. So,
like the
we're good.
Fortress spells.
Hmm?
The Scream Fortress spells, and the Team Fortress 2 Halloween ones, where you have spells that you can cast and stuff.
I don't know.
I vaguely remember Scream Fortress.
Yeah, I
and
didn't.
stuff.
I've only played one of the Halloween ones.
Yeah, what was going on with the spells?
There's ones that like make you like small, like you run really fast. Ones that you can summon skeletons around you.
Oh, wow.
Ones that you can like turn invisible.
Mhm.
Like I don't know.
Yeah. So any crazy ideas, I'm down. Like, throw the crazy ideas at me. We'll talk. But ideas everywhere. Just launch them. I don't care. We'll figure out what's mechanically unique enough and interesting enough to keep in the game itself. But ideas are throw them all over the place. Puke them. Projectile vomit all of your ideas. Just however dumb, crazy, weird, whatever. Just throw them all into the pot. It's fine. But yeah, and then for everything else, I said I'll post some examples of the environments and such like that, and then characters we can discuss. If you have an idea, bring it up. We'll mention what we'll talk about, or you can just like kind of come up with some. These pixel sprites right here take like 5 minutes to make. It's more of the design side of things that takes the time. So, yeah.
I think we should wrap it up.
Yep, and I think we should wrap up. Any further questions on this? No? Okay. Any last comments for the meeting as a whole?
Quinn and I are reducing the resolution.
Okay.
We'll post something about it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, check it.
That will make everything easier.
That will. So, yeah. All right. So, I guess we're done. Everybody go away.
It's not, I love the resolution. But for game.
You're fine.